Yeah, yeah. So when someone, I won't mention any names, if anyone tells me that something is sloping, then I automatically would assume the water flows, right?
I would, yeah.
Anybody, a plumber, a
Sure.
carpenter,
What's your point?
an idiot.
Well,
You have
I
a
know
point.
what his point is. Slow down. So you're using slope as a monolithic term. There are multiple different elevation changes in L.I.G.O. I do know that. So it's not just necessarily one slope in one direction. No.
Wow.
That is true. There's a slight elevation change on the other arm of it, too.
Elevation change.
Elevation, yes.
Not of
Above
the
sea
laser,
level.
though, right?
Above means sea level.
Not the laser, though, right? The laser. Or are you having an elevation
Oh, of course
change
not.
on the
Not
laser?
the laser. No, the laser doesn't slope. I mean, the laser doesn't. Laser's not bending or anything like that, if that's what you're trying to say.
No. It's just saying an elevation change.
Yeah. There's an elevation change on the tube, so there's an elevation change on the laser, too.
Okay.
So the laser doesn't bend because it's in a vacuum?
Correct.
Why does it bend when it's in the atmosphere? Like not in a vacuum?
Because of density change in the medium that it's traveling through.
Okay, so it depends on the medium.
Most definitely.
Awesome. I took a phone call. Did we finish the, if anyone tells us it's a slope, we know the water's going to flow? Like, we know how water flows type thing?
No, you have to be careful with the term slope. It's not a slope.
Oh, okay. So maybe
That's just my opinion because there are
someone
multiple-
misusing
It's
slope.
not just in one direction. It goes up, it goes down. It's topography.
Topography is...
Obvious fishing expedition is obvious.
Yeah.
Jackie has heard somebody say that
not a
that
slope.
distant offshore wind farm over there appears to be sloping down, and wants somebody to say that if there is a slope, water would run in a direction, as an attempt to use that to debunk the claim that the offshore wind farm appears to be sloping down as viewed from this location a long distance away from it.
So you're saying there's no slope there?
Obvious fishing expedition is obvious.
There is no slope then, right?
So no slope.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fishing.
If water's not flowing,
Yeah.
there's
no slope.
There's no slope.
That sounds good. I agree, Rakia.
I like
Totally
that.
obvious fishing expedition is totally obvious.
I mean, you're not biting on that question, or you just don't know the answer or scared to answer it?
Yeah, we're just stating the obvious, right? If
Yeah, I
there's
don't
no
think it's
slope,
something you disagree with.
yeah.
Don't you agree with us? If there's no slope, water doesn't flow. If there is slope, water will flow, must flow.
What's the point of all this? Or is there one?
Slope,
Yeah, slope.
slope, slope, slope. I think water is the key to a lot of it.
Hell yeah.
Whew, it's been a long day. A lot of slope.
They're slow.
And I'm drinking water.
Double thin clouds of mine. If you walk that road, you'll be left behind, like swaying branches in the air, lost in confusion, filled with despair.
Yeah, not a level that's useless for surveying.
Arguments and fallacies, taken from the book of lies and deceit. There are those who will never see the gift of low gas that was given to me. And I know how water flows, and I know what level shows it. You'll be wasting your time trying to change what's been defined.
Sorry, say it again.
Is it an old level that you've got?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a level.
I know what I know.
It's just an optical level.
You don't
Have you ever done a 2-peg test with it?
You don't know.
No, I can't remember ever doing one, Bill.
You think it's measuring, but it's not. It's optical phenomenon. All you fools think you know what's beyond. I know how water flows, and I know what level shows it. You'll be wasting your time trying to change what's been defined. I know how water flows, and I know what level shows it. You'll be wasting your time trying to change what's been defined.
Horizon means the line where the sky meets the earth. Yeah, that's the definition I'm going by.
All
And I'm
horizontals are
Let me
parallel to the
finish,
plane of the
finish.
horizon.
Let me finish. You can't just spout your logic at me. I'm still talking.
All right, the boys over at the Blue Marble Science. And Blue's not here. Oh, no, there he is. There he is.
He was just here a second ago. Gotta go feed Gladys.
We've gone quiet. Good day, Blue. Good day, Carl. And anybody
Good
else?
day, Bev.
I think we know everybody else.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
Yeah. And there's like 8 of us and 2 of you, so maybe Mobius and we'll talk a lot. We're not gonna overpower you, but
I don't know if I want to run the risk of getting banned again.
Just gotta not say the wrong thing. Make sure you get a list of requirements of things that can and can't be said. You don't want to disrespect anyone. I mean, like, I never imagined that you'd be a disrespectful.
Blue is not like George.
That's what Blue said, though. He said he was disrespectful. Mobius, I don't.
Holy fuck, we're all here. What's up?
what
Fuck you, Rod.
Oh, who let that guy in?
calling me racers in here now. Damn it.
No.
Is your name Kiwi?
Oh God.
Hey, Blue, what's up, bro?
It's your party, SC.
All right. We got us a shindig. So what's on the agenda?
This is your idea. I don't have an agenda.
Well, I believe Mobius wanted to have a word with you, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, sure.
All right, guys, you have the floor.
I'm just reading over the rules. I don't want to, disobey any of the rules and get banned again. I want to squash all this like childish stuff. But
Don't worry, Blue is not like George Snow. Blue.
I had banned you on the server here, and I didn't know where to find that list. I thought I was doing it right with up to my friends
I
list.
figured you'd eventually get it.
So was it a mistake, the banning in the first place, or is there a reason that Mobius has to watch out for what he's doing so he doesn't get banned again? I think that's what we're trying to establish first.
I don't know of any reason why you got to watch out. I'm not going to ban anybody.
So can I ask, like, I remember before it said no name calling. I guess you took that out of the rules.
Well, don't worry. Don't pay any attention to it.
Well, I was just wondering because last time it
You
specifically
mean don't
said
pay any
no name
attention to the
calling.
rules, or don't pay any attention to the change in the rules? I don't
Because
know.
last time I remember
You
seeing
guys
it,
don't hear
it
me?
said name calling won't be tolerated, but then I got called an idiot. And then when I mentioned the hypocrisy of being called an idiot when no name calling will be tolerated, I got banned.
Hey, Gary. Hey, the Allen. How you guys doing?
That's all. I was just wondering if that still
Hello.
applies.
I'm not going to. I'm not
Is
going
that Gary?
I'll say it one more time. I'm not going to ban anybody. Okay.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, that's settled now. Water under the bridge.
Now let's move on. Hey, Gary. You've been around here for a while, haven't you?
I have.
Oh, I recognize that voice.
How you and Rob have your photos on your profile picture. That's cool. And the Alan, is that you, the Alan? He's muted him. So who's gonna start the party?
Yeah, let's do it. Buster, Blue.
Well,
Let's
I was
go,
trying to
guys.
get some conversation started. I got lots of work to do. I thought I could just kick it started, and people would carry on the conversation.
Can you hear Mobius, Rob?
Yeah, exactly. Mobius.
Yeah, but I don't listen to him. Moby.
Okay, I gotta start this up. Okay, the L.I.G.O arms are not straight. Boom.
Essie, you can be the moderator.
Can I give the thing? Because that one we've just watched, George had the apex as being the tangent point. Can we put that as a starting point? I tried to tell George he was wrong, but it's not what you said, is it, Blue?
Blue, we came here for a discussion, not just some dribble.
Yeah, you asked for the discussion, and I'm waiting for a question. You got one?
So you're not
I
gonna
think
like
Bev just asked you.
lead in anything.
Well, you're talking about George. I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't talked to George in quite a while.
I think what
Okay, I
Bev
have a
just
nice
said was
breaker question. Blue, George said yesterday, I believe it was, that an auto level has an on-off curvature switch. Would you care to comment?
Well, I don't have an auto level, so I don't know what it's got or what it doesn't have. Just see, the only level I've got is an old optical Berger optical level. It's not an auto level. You have to take care of the leveling process your own self. So I don't know what an auto level's got on it or what it doesn't. I think at least I've heard from people that theodolites, especially the little station things, have got that sort of provision built into them, built in the software or whatever.
For
But I
Earth curve?
I can't speak intelligently about that. I don't
Are
know
you
for
saying
sure.
like the... Oh, sorry, Blue, go ahead.
I'm just saying I don't know for sure what it's got and what it doesn't have. You used one. I don't pretend to know anything about those.
Well, that's an honest answer. Thank you, sir. Because George seems adamant that there is an on-off switch. And for me, it was, I really haven't heard of it. I'm not sure. I don't know nothing about this. That's why I'm asking.
Well, like I say, I've heard from Larry GPS. I've heard from Jesse. I think I've heard both. I know I've heard Larry say that in the software there's you can turn curvature off. Got compensation built into it for that, but I don't know that. I've not seen that myself. So
Okay, fair enough.
I'm just repeating what somebody told me.
Yeah, I think I heard something about software too, in the total station. I'm not sure I heard it in the auto level. I think I heard something like that too in the total station, that it automatically adjusts for Earth curvature.
I think that's what I heard.
Okay, honest answer. You don't know. Okay, fine, great.
And just for clarity as well, George didn't say that the auto level has an on-off curvature switch.
Was it a theodolite?
No, it's an automatic one because it's an auto level. You automatically get rid of the curvature by turning it through 180 degrees.
Oh, I got it wrong then.
Yeah,
My bad.
Oh.
Are you talking about differential leveling?
I think George was just talking about turning it around 180 degrees. Yeah, whenever you do backside foresight, you cancel the curvature out.
Yeah,
it's like an automatic
happen,
curvature off switch.
Yeah, that's what would happen, wouldn't it? If you're midway between 2 points.
It's just a horizontal, Blue.
You would wipe out the amount of drop would be the same both directions if the distance is the same.
The drop, it's just a horizontal, George. Sorry, Blue. It's just a horizontal.
Yeah. It's a horizontal, which is not level. I know you disagree with that, but it's the way it works.
It does leave you in a bit of a quandary, though. I mean, I don't want to step on Mobius's toes or anything, but would you consider that as a horizontal plane for L.I.G.O?
Consider it a horizontal. Consider what a horizontal plane?
The two arms of L.I.G.O, or the path that the laser beam travels along.
I wouldn't necessarily consider that a horizontal plane, especially not the east arm at Livingston or the east or west arms at Hanover.
Okay, so where would the horizontal plane be then? in relation to the arms? Because this is what George said. George said the tangent point was right at the apex of the two arms.
Well, you need to talk to George about that.
I'm talking to you, but I'm just telling you what George said.
Oh, okay. Didn't hear what he said, so
I can't remember you saying that. You said something different, didn't you? You said a midpoint along one of the arms.
it appears from what I looked at. I don't know. Again, don't know what George was saying.
Yeah, I know. I think George is losing his marbles, to be honest.
Being
not
part
so
of
sure
the
George knows
conversation, it's hard for me to
saying.
comment on. Being part of that conversation, it's hard for me to comment on it. But when I looked at L.I.G.O, and I looked at the Livingston site in particular, the one in Louisiana, the west arm gives you the impression, just by virtue of the fact that the two ends of it are virtually at the same elevation, and the center point is the low elevation by about a foot. Gives you the impression that the point of tangency is somewhere near the middle of that arm, and whether it's lined up on the arm or not, I don't know. Can't really tell. But it does look like it's somewhere near the center.
Yeah, George didn't seem to know what he was talking about when I told him that you said that.
I'm trying to turn you up a little bit, Bev. You're kind of soft.
Yeah, I'm trying a new way of approach. I don't want to interrupt anyone. See, I found you a switch with it in the on position for you, just to make you feel like, not always in the off position.
I know I'm getting a little old. I know I'm not senile yet. I could have swore I heard George say an on-off switch.
Not on the auto level, on the theodolite.
The theodolite. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they
I stand corrected.
They're completely different tools. They do completely different jobs.
Yep. One's for angles and one is for leveling. Yep.
Well, theodolite, as I understand it, you can level with it just as well as you can an auto level. But
yeah, I heard George say that the other day. He's not right, So I say, it's a theodolite. It's a completely different job. It does angles.
Yeah, I know.
Mm.
It does them very well, vertical and horizontal.
Yep. Whereas an auto level just establishes a horizontal plane of reference for elevation checks, measuring rods.
Yeah, that's what auto level's for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Answers in the name.
Mm-hmm.
Auto level.
That's why they're different tools.
Yeah, an auto level is useless for surveying, for the most part. I mean, it does what it's intended to do. It does it quite well.
It does it the best.
Easy, I think. What I've seen, just the videos I've watched, they look like they're easy, fairly easy to set up.
Absolutely simple.
Compared to a transit or a theodolite.
I don't know. The setting up's pretty much the same.
I know setting up an old manual one like the one I've got, this burger out here, is when you get used to it, you can do it pretty rapidly, but it still takes a little care, Got the 3 posts on it. You got to line the barrel up over parallel with 2 of them, and adjust the level that way, and then spin it 90 degrees and adjust that, and then keep going back and forth. So pain in the neck, really.
Yeah.
With auto levels, you get close and cut the thing loose, and it does the rest by itself, right?
Is that a level one that you've got there? Your old one? An old level?
Sorry, say it again.
Is it an old level that you've got?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a level. It's just an optical level.
Have you ever done a 2-peg test with it?
No, I can't remember ever doing one, Bill.
Hmm.
Hey, Blues. So I just, if I may, I want to try to clear something up about the decimal places and rounding numbers. Am I coming through?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay. So I understand that you've commented numerous times that now that that's a true statement, that I don't know how to round numbers, or are you just
Well, I don't know if you understand the significance of the way engineering drawings are made, and the way we do things in the real world in engineering. That's all.
Yeah.
You're breaking up quite badly there, Is he like that for you as well, Blue?
Yeah, he's roboting a good bit.
Pretty bad there, Mobius.
Mobius, let me tell you what.
Can I ask something about engineering?
What?
I just want to know if I can ask something about engineering.
Oh yeah, sure. Let me.
Yeah, I want to share my screen. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, here's my camera. This is an engineering nightmare. Whoever designed drum brakes ought to be shot. You see this shit?
Used to be about the only thing we had, so you got used to
I know.
taking them apart and putting them back together. They're on
This
the
shit is
rear now, and it's got those damned automatic adjusters on them. It's a pain in the ass.
This thing is horrible. Hey, my tool guy's here. Tool guy's here. Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta get some tools.
Well, anyway, let's go back to L.I.G.O. Mobius, you seem to think there's some significance to the fact that they list at the center of the. Well, let's just talk about the west arm at Livingston, because that's the cleanest one to look at. That's where the elevations are almost the same at both ends. You see at the center of it, 900 feet that show an elevation of 63.00. You think that somehow or the other is telling you something, and I don't know what you think. I don't know why you think that's unusual.
I don't know if I'm still breaking up or not, but firstly, the rounding numbers, that's like, I don't know what grade I learned that in, but it's like elementary. It's really basic. So for you to make the claim that I don't understand how to round numbers, I mean, it's kind of a really weak attempt at an insult. So I didn't know if you were seriously considering an inability of mine to round numbers, but like I said, it just seems like really weak. But other than that, besides that, as far as the LIGO as-built drawings, the numbers listed in the actual drawings don't say, or it's not recorded anyway, that there's a decimal place beyond the 2 decimal places that are shown. And I understand that according to your model, there has to be, and that you can use a model to infer that there are more decimal places implied. However, the question is if the decimal places are shown or not, which you keep on insisting that they can be calculated to be there, but I keep on insisting that they're not there. And you take that, or maybe you don't take it, maybe you purposely like misconstrue it to, you know, cast like some kind of mud in the water to deviate away from the fact that it doesn't say that I've got some sort of misunderstanding about rounding numbers, some basic, you know, mathematical ability. So I just wanted to clear that up. Did any of that come through, or?
Yeah, I heard you.
I didn't know if it was breaking up or not because it was silence.
Well, off the top of your head, what is 0.01 feet equal to in inches? Think about it for a second.
I think it's around 1/8 of an inch, something like that, maybe.
That's right. Yeah, just under 1/8 of an inch. It would be 0.12 inches.
Right. And your point being?
My point being that if they're getting concrete that close, they're doing a hell of a job.
Yeah. So if an elevation continues for an additional 400 to 600 feet beyond the 900 feet, and it only deviates 0.01 or 0.02 feet for an additional, I don't know, 600 feet, what does that show in the drawings? Not what you can imply or what you can infer from your model, but what does it show in the actual drawings? That's what I'm asking.
Well, it shows that if you what you can do is take that center point at 63 feet and take 100-foot increments like they've taken. Yeah. And just do something really, really straightforward and simple, like 8 inches per mile squared, and apply that to those distances.
So you're applying a model. I'm asking you not to apply a model. I'm asking you to tell me what the drawings say, not what you infer based on a model.
The drawings say what they say. Is that what you want me to tell
you? Do you get what I'm asking, or
no? Not at all.
I've tried to simplify it as basically as I can, but
I don't get it. The drawings say what the drawings say. Is that what you want to
perfect.
hear?
Well, that's all I've been saying, and you take that as me not understanding how to round numbers.
Well, I don't know what you're trying to make out of it, though. It's exactly what you would think it would be. Drawings say exactly what you would predict they would say.
Based on
8 inches per mile squared, based on
a model.
On the surface of a sphere, it is 3959.
So based on a model, you can infer that the numbers would be accurate, rounded.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
But the numbers don't say what you're inferring. The numbers say what the numbers say. Period. End of story.
No, the numbers say exactly what I'm inferring when I round my calculations to 2 decimal places.
Then the numbers don't say what you're inferring. Your inference says what you're inferring.
Yeah, the numbers say exactly what I'm inferring.
But
when I apply that and round the number and round the calculations to 2 decimal places, get exactly the numbers that they show you.
the numbers only go to 2 decimal places.
Right. Well, I round mine to
So
2 decimal.
so you're rounding from a third or fourth decimal place. You're basing that on a model, not on what was written in the drawings. And I'm not even touching on where the numbers come from in the first place, right?
It's the curvature that you should see over that distance.
Should see, based on a model.
It's exactly what you should see.
Right, should see over a model, on a model.
In reality, and that's what you're looking at out there.
Well, you don't know what reality is. You're
okay. So you're
dictating
questioning the elevation data.
You're dictating. Well, where do the elevations come from? Tell me that.
You're questioning the elevation data. All right.
You've looked at it, right? You've looked at where the elevation data comes from.
Well, it was surveyed out there.
Surveyed how? How was it surveyed? Do you know any of the methods?
No,
I've researched it. Have you researched it?
You could call Jacobs Engineering and talk to them.
I'm asking you, Blue, because we're having the conversation. I can call Jacobs and tell them, the same thing. But I'm asking you because we're having the conversation.
You're asking me to think about something that happened that somebody else did when I wasn't there.
No, I'm asking you if you have any information, if you've researched any of this information. If you haven't, that's fine. But don't tell me that it's been surveyed and I'm doubting the surveying information, data, and all this other stuff when you're also saying that you have no idea what the fuck they did or how they did it.
Well, it's on a set of as-built drawings certified by registered professional engineers, and I assume they had a surveyor verify those numbers.
As long as you're clear that you're assuming it, that's fine. Whatever.
Okay.
I realize it's all an assumption.
Saying you
that's
researched it. I want to hear what your research shows. What did you research and what does it show?
Well, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to divulge any of that. I'll let you go ahead and come to your own
conclusion. Then maybe you and I don't have anything else to say to each other. Thank you for being here.
I could tell you. I mean, I researched it. I can tell you what I researched and what I found out when I researched it. But I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to help blossom this conversation into anything meaningful. You know what I mean?
Okay, if you don't feel like going any further with this.
Did you say bye? Are you going to kick me again or ban me or what?
No, I'm not kicking you or banning you. I'm just not going to talk about it anymore.
Oh, fine. Okay. I thought you said bye. Like getting ready to hang up on me.
You've got a microphone. Doc, 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 doc.
Maybe some mood music.
Can I interject something?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess the conversation's over.
That sounds like it.
All right.
I'm not holding Blue to this or just Blue. I mean, because I think we all say things, but when Blue said it's what we expect to see, what are we basing that on? Like, what is he based?
Still picking it up, or has it gone quiet now?
It's gone.
I would ask Blue what he's basing that on, but what am I supposed to base that on?
You're asking me what I base the statement that it's what I would expect to see on?
Yes.
Question?
Yes.
It's based on it's based on a sphere with a radius of 3,959 miles. The drop. It is the
Blue,
change.
you are allowed to say it's based on your belief in the heliocentric model. You are allowed to say that.
No, that's a fair answer. I'm not trying to start anything. I'm really that's what I wanted to know.
Is that what you're hoping to get a recording of him saying that you can use in a video later?
I don't do videos, so you're just being an idiot. So Blue, it's based on that radius value, correct?
Yeah.
in your mind, or what you know about optics and refraction and whatever else that we put into this, could that same effect or something similar to it, because the effect changes, happen over a flat plane, extended plane?
You want refraction to account for this?
Not just refraction. I mean, I would never say it's just refraction or just perspective or just the way the human eye sees things or the way optics view things over distance or magnify or lensing or whatever. I would say it's a combination of all the variables put together that, in my mind, is creating an optical illusion in some cases. And then in other cases, it's just a lesser effect. Like, the norm in my area is different than the norm in, let's use George because he's done a lot of study. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm a lot more humid and blah blah blah. So I'm gonna get the optical effects that are related to that more than other people would in less humid areas. Would you agree with that?
Well, I think yeah, there would be some truth to that, Rocky. But now what we're calling into question here is the accuracy of the elevation measurements that we're taking at LIGO.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't. I must have missed it. No problem. I just heard you say that, and I was wondering myself. So, thanks.
No, that's what we're talking about now. Is if you want to doubt the elevation data taken by CBI and Jacobs Engineering and stated on those certified construction drawings, then I don't know where to go from there.
I haven't looked. Now, to be honest with you, I haven't looked into the drawing that much. I've heard the arguments, and I know the pads themselves could be different elevations, and then from the pad to the actual tube could measure different. Like the whatever the support is. If the tube is sitting right on the pads, I couldn't tell you one way or another. I mean, you can have different elevations of things, and then put structures on top of them, and then have a level horizontal structure on top of those.
Yeah, we do it all the time.
Right.
That's
I'm just saying I don't know the argument enough to.
Yeah, that's that wouldn't be an uncommon thing at all. But if I take the elevation data at face value, and again, you can question this if you like. That's fine. If you don't think the elevation data is correct, that's another thing. But if I assume the elevation data is correct, it matches a curvature on a sphere with a radius of 3,959 miles. That's my point. That's the only point.
So the elevations are all over the place then?
No, the elevations plot a curve. They plot an arc segment of a circle, which has a radius of 3,959.
But they don't base their elevations off of a sphere. They base it off of a geoid, which has different radius values at different places.
Yeah, but it's not enough difference that you're gonna.
Would it be within 2 or 3 decimal places difference?
I think it would be. I mean,
How long is this thing?
How long is what?
2.5 miles.
Yeah, over 2.5 miles. Probably the geoid probably have like almost no effect. Probably well within 3 to 5 decimal places.
Oh yeah, easily. I would think.
But there's only 2
guessing?
on the thing, isn't there? Right? Do you have extra information that we don't?
Oh, I have plenty of
that would be
information you
helpful.
don't have, though. Yeah,
Okay.
I got plenty of information you don't have.
Nice. Do you
Well,
even
what's-
know what we're talking about, NASA?
Yeah, I do actually.
So you have information about the LIGO arms, but you don't know how long each one of them are?
Off the top of my head, no. Sorry.
I mean,
Fade,
that's
we
like
were
kind of
doing good
standard.
until you came in. I
Oh,
suggest you stay
SE,
out of
how are
this.
you? How are you,
I'm
SE?
very good until now.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but
Hey,
you don't know
PNS.
who I am, do you?
Hey, PNS, just so you know, Rakia is in here in case you want to
Yeah, I
bow
know.
out
I
now.
heard. I'm not gonna bow with Rocky here. No, I'm in Blue's pages. He's got control.
Don't start with the ad homs, okay, Paige? Please. Be
No, I haven't said
respectable.
anything bad about Adham. Anything. Have
I know. I'm not saying shit. Let's all be civilized here.
So anyway, Blue, I was just trying to ask if the decimal places are a known value. Like, do you know how many decimal places the geoid would be different from the elevations used at LIGO that are based on a sphere of 3959 miles? Or like how much of a difference that would make? Or are you just guessing based on a model?
Well, I could look into that. I have not considered it. It's a very simple analysis.
Okay. So technically, just spitballing here, but technically speaking, elevation with 2 decimal points to the hundredth could be accurate at 0 difference in elevation along a geoid, right?
I don't know what you're asking.
So a geoid, if it's not necessarily equidistant, the surface isn't necessarily equidistant, or even elevation isn't necessarily equidistant from the center point at all positions, right? Because the geoid is it's like a potato, right? It's different shapes.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Geoid's plotting. What is geoid? What is the geoid plotting, really?
well, the elevations are based on the WGS 84, which is a hypothetical geoid model of Earth. I mean, that's what it's defined as.
Yeah.
Right. And a geoid is not a sphere where every point along its surface is equidistant from the center.
Well, it could be.
Could be, might be, maybe not. I don't know.
It could be a sphere.
Right. So hypothetically,
Over a 2.5 mile distance, how much change would you expect?
I wouldn't expect any. But what I'm asking you is hypothetically it could be the same, and hypothetically it could be different equally, right? And the only way that you would be able to prove that or verify it is if you actually do like hands-on, first order differential leveling, right?
I would assume that's well, I don't think they did differential leveling necessarily out there.
I'm not sure that they did either. I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on it, since you seem to have a pretty strong opinion. Since you seem to have a pretty strong opinion about how they did it, or what they did, or what they came up with, even though you don't know necessarily how they did it or what they did, but you're pretty confident in the numbers that they did come up with, right?
Yeah, I've had a lot of dealings with with Chicago Bridge and Iron and Jacobs Engineering over the years, and yeah, I do believe what they put on their drawings is accurate.
Yeah,
not seen them
accurate.
Not be
accurate according to what?
What do you mean accurate according to what?
Well,
Information
accurate.
Okay.
When you say accurate, you've got an ideal standard, right? You've got some sort of like a 0 mark, like Like if you said 1 is accurate to a degree of 1 from 0, right? Then you've already set that 0 as your standard. That's your mark. If you say that 100 is accurate to 1 from 0, then 1 would be one would be 100 of whatever increment you're gauging that accuracy. Right? Do you understand what I'm saying, or it might be a little too complicated? I don't know.
It sounds a bit like gibberish to me, if you want to know the truth.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, I believe if they put on those drawings an elevation of 63.00 feet,
you believe it's accurate.
I get a trained professional surveyor to go out there, shoot the elevation of that point. I would assume that the number is going to come out somewhere between 62.995 and 63.004.
I don't mean to harp on this, but I think that it is relevant and kind of important to understand where I'm coming from. So let me, if I may, try to give you another analogy that might bring my point more into focus. Is that okay?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, so when you say the word accuracy or accurate, if I was 5 minutes off from being on time, would you say I'm accurate to the time, like say 12 o'clock, right? I'm 5 minutes, 12:05, right? Would you say that I'm accurately at 12 o'clock, or would you say that I'm accurately at 12:05?
I have no idea where you're going with this, Mobius.
He's trying to get into rounding numbers again.
No. I'm not trying to get into rounding numbers.
Doesn't make any sense.
Trying to give you an analogy that will hopefully make sense.
I'd say if you're at 12:05, you'd say it's 12 o'clock plus or minus 10 minutes.
Okay, so you've got a margin of error. You've got a margin of error from your 0 point, right? You've got a margin.
12:05 would round up to 12:10 in that case. We go 10th of 10 minutes. So.
Okay, so within a margin of error, right? 12:05 could be accurately 12 o'clock, right? I get that, right?
The ballpark number, yeah, sure.
Okay, so the ballpark. Well, you've got the that's a good analogy right there. A ballpark. Well, in an infield, you've got the wall, which is designated where if you hit over it, it's a home run, right? So if you hit it out of the park, if you get a home run, right, you've passed that line. But that line has to be established, right? So you've established a 0 mark. You've established a point that is considered accurate, and you may or may not have given yourself any parameter for error margin, right? Are you following me so far?
You ever done anything engineering or scientific in your life?
Have you ever shut the fuck up and let somebody else answer the question?
Have you ever done anything engineering? No, I'm getting tired of this.
We're not interested in your opinion,
be quiet. I'm turning you down.
Shut your mouth. They're having a good conversation.
So I got shut down when I
I'm
tried
turning
to
Rocky
get
down.
QA Nasty Shield going to get shut down for not adding anything.
Turning Rocky
Lou,
down.
take care of this, bro.
I'm asking
You
a
don't
simple
want
question.
paid
Have you done
here.
anything scientific?
So he just turned me and
engineering in your
SE down. I'm going to interrupt him.
Hey, Blue, I'll just let you go ahead and figure out how to handle this situation where PNS is going to answer for you with some add-ons and shit.
Who turned who down?
I turned down
Nasty
Rocky.
Shield turned Rakia down and SE, and interrupted for no reason, hasn't added anything while everyone else was on mute listening. What's the problem?
All right, come on, Paige. Stay behind for a minute, and then we'll open this up and let everybody talk. Okay.
Fine.
So, Blue,
right,
just
everybody
real quick,
happy
Blue, if I may, I just want to get back on track. Did you understand the analogy of or did it make any sense? The analogy of the home run, like the fence that has to be established in order to determine whether or not a home run has been made or not been made.
I understand what you're saying about a home run. Don't understand the analogy at all.
Okay. A point has to be established in order for you to make the statement that something is accurate to that point or within certain parameters as an error margin.
Well, let me tell you how it works in the world of engineering. We state things to 2 decimal places. It's implied that 63.00 could be anywhere from 62.995 to 63.004. Any of those numbers
I'm glad you
will round to 63.00. That's the way engineering works. That's how we know how accurate things are, by how many decimal places they're taken out to.
Right. I'm glad you brought that up. That actually...
that no longer applies. If I stated as 63.000, now I've got to move to the next decimal place. And then it becomes 62.9995 and 63.0004.
Right. So
the accuracy is implied in the number itself and the way the number's written.
If I may.
The earliest things you learn in engineering school.
Yes, and I'm absolutely glad that you brought that up because that brings it full circle. Okay, that brings it back to what we were talking about previously, and it also works as an analogy to make my point, if I may.
I'd make it.
Okay. So when you're adding decimal points to get within that accuracy, what, say 63 feet, right? Your accuracy is determined by that 63 foot mark, right? Any decimal points after that or before, 62.99999 whatever and on, those decimal points are based on an accuracy of 63, correct?
Nope.
No? So the decimal points away from 63 aren't an accuracy from 63?
No. Obviously, if you state the elevation is 63 feet, that is any elevation between 62.5 and 63.4 feet.
Right. Since you set those parameters.
You set them when you said 63 feet.
You're accepting 63 point whatever or 62 point whatever as 63. You've set those parameters as accepting that will be sufficient for whatever purpose that you deem that to be sufficient for, right? So you're building something, you're only going to use 2 decimal points because you don't need to use any more than 2 decimal points. But
that's right.
Your starting point would be that dead center mark, not 1 or 2 decimal places from or before that mark.
No.
Your accuracy.
No, not at all. Not at all, Mobius.
I don't. Okay.
Your
Well, I don't. I think that you would agree with me.
Don't just throw the decimal points away,
I think
Mobius.
that you would agree with me, not because I'm me, not because you're you. I think that you would agree with me because we're saying the same thing, but I don't think I'm saying it quite right. I'm trying to be super clear about it. Maybe it's a failure on my part, but I do believe that we would absolutely agree if I were able to articulate it better for you. So I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to try and argue with you or get into a spitting match or anything like that.
Okay, that's fine with me.
Okay.
You imply the accuracy of your measurement just simply by the way you write the number. That's all I'm telling you.
And I'm saying that the number is the baseline for your accuracy. You can choose.
No,
You can choose.
No.
You can choose. You can choose what parameters. Fit within that margin of error.
No.
Okay. All right.
No, the number is not what establishes the accuracy of it.
No.
No, it is not.
Then what establishes the accuracy?
The number of decimal places you're taking it to. That's what establishes the accuracy.
So what if? So infinity. Infinity. You can have infinity amount of zeros after the number, but what are you gauging your accuracy to?
The number of decimal places you take it to.
So any number can be accurate to infinity.
No, I wouldn't go down that path.
How would you word it? How would you word it so that it makes fucking sense?
Infinity, huh?
How would you word it to where it makes sense? To where you could use it practically. How would you word it?
A measurement taken to 1/100th of an inch is accurate to plus or minus 5 thousandths of an. If we stated it as a tolerance on a drawing, that's what we would state it as. Plus or minus.
So would that be 1 decimal point, 2 decimal points past the thousandths? If you've got 0.01 and you're trying to, your accuracy is 0.00 and you've got 0.01, then do you just change your error margin and say, well, okay, go ahead. Inform me, educate me.
Here we go. Let's take 0 as a starting point, okay? Just 0.
Mm-hmm.
0.00. Let's use that. How's that? 0.00 applies, assumes any number between 0.004 and on the other hand, it would be minus. What would that be? That's 0.995.
Of the previous
number. Am I doing that right?
Of the previous number, of a -1. -1.995 or whatever, right? 0.95.
No, it's negative 0.005 actually.
Okay. Negative point.
From negative 0.005, positive 0.004 is 0.00. Any number in there.
And what do you have a negative number from? Any negative number. What is that negative number from?
Less than 0.
So it's how far away from the number.
This is what I've been trying to tell you, Mobius. You don't really understand how this rounding thing works.
No, I'm very clear on how the rounding works.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
You're showing it right now.
Really?
Yeah. You are. Five rounds up, 4 rounds down.
Oh shit. So how is it that you're saying that I've got that wrong? I mean, I can't even express how basic. I mean, I don't know what grade I was in when I learned that. I probably thought it was fucking fabulous when I first learned it, but it's totally not the point that I'm getting at. And I think that you're using that as a segue into some sort of like distraction from the point that I'm trying to make. I don't know.
Oh, I'm just simply I'm just simply trying to explain to you that you automatically state the accuracy of what you believe your accuracy of measurement to be the moment that you put 2 decimal places out there.
Let me ask you this. I know apples and oranges get used a lot in a lot of analogies, so maybe it'll help some familiarity to it. But say I've got one apple, right? And that is my benchmark, that one apple. And I want to be accurate to that one whole apple. Can I add or take away from that whole apple and still have a whole apple? Can I be Can I be that accurate?
Mobius, that's a silly. That's just
No,
a silly,
it's the point that I'm trying to fucking make, Blue.
It's just silly.
You can say that it's
Don't do
silly,
that.
but it's the point that I'm trying to make.
Well, we've just narrowed something down. We know which grade you were in. It was a single digit. That narrows that down.
Yeah. Except
Yeah,
he's
single
not
digit. A
accepting
single
half
digit
apples.
is accurate to the single digit, right?
No, I mean the grade you were in was a single digit. Let me get to A levels. It is absolutely fundamental to doing any science or engineering in any field that whole objects like the number of apples in a box, the number of people in the study group, the number of Petri dishes on the shelf are whole numbers and are given as integers, and they do not limit your accuracy. But when you are measuring something like the number of colony forming units per litre in that nutrient broth, if your count of colonies on a plate is a 3-figure number, then you only have 3 significant digits in one of your inputs, so you can't give more than 3 significant digits in the output. If you're measuring
I'm not talking about statistical mathematics. I'm talking about
measuring people's traits.
I'm talking about the fundamental of
if you are measuring
accuracy.
people's height, and you measure them to the nearest
making a statement
0.1
of accuracy.
then you have
Making
a
a statement
4-figure
of
input
accuracy.
and cannot give more than a
Making
4-figure
a
output.
statement of accuracy
You don't know what
on
accuracy
a
is. You're just
benchmark.
waffling. You have no idea what accuracy is. You've never done any
It
science
still has to-
engineering in
it's-
your
it
life. You
still
just
has
make
to
up
be-
bullshit in the hope that
there still
someone
has
will
to be a
fall
benchmark.
for it.
Hey, Blue, who the fuck is this dog talking like this? I thought we were going to be civilized here.
You ain't heard me being uncivilized.
Oh, I heard you. I heard you.
Oh, that's a threat. Oh my goodness.
Don't worry. We know who you are.
So far, we've just had Peyton Asashil and this
So
guy.
when you are setting up
You
your
can't. You brought
calculations,
nothing to the
you
conversation
have a number
except
of things you
insults
put into the calculation. Those can be an actual count of something like Petri dishes, which doesn't limit your accuracy, or a measurement, which does
Okay,
limit
let
your
him
accuracy.
respond to your
I'm
statement.
not talking
When you
about
put in a
statistical
measurement,
mathematics.
your measurements are done
Dude,
to a certain
dog.
number of significant
Settle
figures.
down. Hey.
Yeah.
The
not talking
smallest
about
number of
statistical
significant figures.
You got
in your
Tourette's or
input
something, dude?
Dog.
You got a
limit
tick?
the number of significant
Let
figures
Mobius-
you can put
let
in your
Mobius
output.
respond.
Yo,
Dog.
dog.
Come on.
I'm not talking about
Let Mobius
statistical
respond
mathematics.
to what you're saying.
I'm just saying I'm not talking about statistical mathematics. I'm talking about whole numbers and the degree of accuracy to that number. When you make the statement of accuracy, you have an intention of a benchmark. I don't know what you want to call it. A
Oh, for
zero
fuck's
mark.
sake, whole numbers always have a significant, always a 1. Come off. Are you high?
Exactly. No, that's the fucking point I'm trying
That's like
to
saying
make. Why
1
don't you
point.
pipe down, dude?
I guess.
Why don't you fucking just settle down?
Oh,
Take
why
a
don't you
chill
kind of
pill.
grow a pair and listen for a change? For fuck's sake.
Jesus Christ.
You cannot talk normal, can you, Pate?
No.
You just
And you know
can't
what?
do it.
Hey, Blue, maybe you and I can have a private conversation sometime, because hey, if you got something interesting to educate me with, I'm all ears. But I'm not going to sit here and get fucking...
Sitting here trying to educate you, and you're telling him nuh-uh the whole time. He's telling you the difference
Nuh-uh,
between
right.
3 and 3.000, and you don't seem to understand that.
The difference between 3 and 3.000 is 0.000.
No. The difference is
Fucking
how
nothing,
closely
you
measure it.
dickhead.
What
You
a
shouldn't be
douchebag.
talking, NASA.
Bev, shut the fuck up and listen for a change. There's a difference between 3 and 3.001. And that is 0.001, but there's also a difference between 3 and 3.000.
Bev's been sitting here listening the
Actually, no,
entire
that's
time and
final
just
digit.
spoke now. You're a dick.
And a liar.
Okay,
You guys,
You disrupt
Mobius, you've
conversation.
never
You
done
bring
any
nothing.
scientific or engineering work if you don't understand the difference between 3 and
Yeah,
3.001.
we heard you.
Right, if you're
Tell
quite
him how
done responding to
stupid he
things I
is.
didn't say, Mobius, the difference between this whole number, to go into engineering terms, not statistical mathematics, which I wasn't talking about. Imagine measuring the height of a house. You can count the number of bricks up the side of the house. But when you measure the height of the house, it is not going to be that number of bricks. It is going to be something like 33.722 feet, if you have measured it that accurately. If you have only measured it to the nearest foot, you can only say it is approximately 72 feet tall. If you have measured it to the nearest inch, you can... 72 feet, good grief, that's a big house. 32 feet tall. If you have measured to the nearest inch, you can say it is approximately 32 feet 4 inches. If you have measured to the nearest thousandth of an inch, you can say it is 32 feet 4.023
Yeah, and people
inches.
would say that whenever they do it. What's the point?
So when we are talking about measuring the height of something
When
being...
we are the guys that measure it, right? When you write the measurements down, that's the measurement. What's the deal?
Really
Where are you going with
you know what
it?
we're talking about, aren't you, Bev? So when someone is talking about something being measured as 63.00 feet, that is not counting apples. That is a measurement. And being a measurement, it has a limited accuracy. The limit of the accuracy of the measurement is expressed by stating the measurement for four significant figures.
And your point is, dog? You don't have one, do you?
He must have just done measurement today. I mean, like, he's all keen to let everybody know what you've just learned.
Yeah, okay.
We know it. Dog, we know it already. Like, you might have just learned it, and you might be keen to try and let everybody know, but we're telling you, we already know what you're saying.
Good, tell me what I'm saying.
When you measure something, you measure it to an accuracy that you're measuring it to.
And then how do you write that
Full
number?
stop. You write it down like you fucking measured it.
All right. If I measure 63, if my measurement is 63.00 feet, how accurate is that measurement, Biff?
I would say that that's accurate to 63.00 feet.
Simple. Game over. Next.
Is 63.
The measurement is 63 feet. That's what it.
Plus or minus what?
63.004.
No, like you see,
Yeah,
Blue,
does that
whenever
round to
I'm doing a measurement, and you
63.00
as well,
or not, Bill?
you say, what's the measurement? And I say, it's 63.004. And you say, oh, is
Okay,
that
good. Now
is
you
that
got
to
another
that
number.
accuracy? Or do you want it like,
Okay.
it's like, no, that's the measurement.
So what's the
you
plus or
simply
minus?
said how accurate you believe your measurement is.
No, yes, because that's what you measure. Right,
If
what's the
I
big
know-
deal now? Now can we carry
If I-
on
don't
that
yell at
that's how
me.
we measure things
Don't
and we
yell at
write
me.
them
When
down,
you
for
say
fuck's sake.
63.00, you just said it's somewhere between 63.
No, Blue, say when the measurement, you get the measurement. That's it. The measurement.
63.004, Biff.
Fuck's
You don't
sake.
understand how? You don't understand that
stuff.
all measurements are not accurate. There's an accuracy between the difference between 63 feet and 63.00 feet. You don't understand that difference?
Hey, Blue, if I may, can I
Bev,
can I
do you
just
understand that difference?
have a second?
Hang on, Shills.
Can I just have a second, Blue? All right. So if I owe, and this, tell me if I'm out of the ballpark with this one, no pun intended, but if I owe $100 and I say, well, I've got 95, am I accurately giving $100? Or what about $96?
Now you're talking about something else.
I'm measuring currency. I'm measuring a debt.
Oh, you're counting. You're not measuring.
It's a measurement.
It's a count.
It's a measurement. It's an account.
Counting
it's
object.
an account. You're taking an
Counting
account.
dollar bills.
You're right. You're counting. You're counting arbitrarily assigned values.
And you've got an expected precision of 1 unit there.
I've got an expected precision of $100. If I give you $98, would that be sufficient?
Oh,
if I owe you $100,
it's not $100, is it? That's not
right.
100 $1 bills, is it?
So the benchmark is $100, not 100 point. If I gave you $100.25, would I be within that margin of error to where we could round down to $100 and call it good?
And you're trying to play a game of
No, I'm not trying to play a game. I'm trying to be precise. I'm trying to be precise so that we have a very clear understanding of the same thing. I'm trying to have a very clear understanding of the same thing. I'm trying to be precise so that we can reach that quota.
It's a terrible
analogy. It might be a terrible analogy because it's not, measuring fucking Petri dishes and shit, but it's still accurate to what the point I'm trying to make, which is that when you say you're accurate to a certain point, that point is your set mark for accuracy. It's very simple, very basic. And the point is that when you say that your measurement of whatever is accurate, you're according it to something. You're basing that accuracy on something. You're not just basing you're not saying it's accurate because I can round numbers to infinity. You're saying it's accurate according to something specific. Am I correct, or do you need to educate me? Do we need Paid NASA's chill to interject some ad homs to educate?
Oh, you want me to interject? I can.
No, I asked Blue if we need somebody to come in and
I thought you were
disrupt the
asking
conversation.
I'd be more than happy
being
to
sarcastic.
I mean, what's being spoken about here is the difference between accuracy and precision, isn't it? These guys.
Accuracy in this case is plus or minus 1 cent. How about that? Or plus, actually.
Who was it that just said?
NASA shows Blue has already spoke about this, hasn't he?
Gary, right? That's you talking about precision and accuracy. Yeah. So, yes. I'm not talking about the difference between accuracy and precision. I'm talking about making a statement of precision or making a statement of accuracy or making a statement saying that something is accurate within blank to whatever it is that it's, accurate to.
Do you understand the difference yet between 63 feet and 63.00 feet?
Do you?
Absolutely nothing.
Yes, there is a big difference.
There is a difference.
It's
what's not a fucking difference.
Well,
what is
that is that? But what does that say when you say it's 0.00?
What is the difference?
The difference is when you say 63 feet, you'd accept anything between 62 feet and half of that.
63 feet is 63 feet, for fuck's sake.
It's 63.4. When you say 63.00 feet,
maybe
it's
to you,
63.005. 62.0. No, that's how it works.
When do you ever guess?
Quick.
When do you ever guess a measurement?
PNS. So just to be clear, you're saying that 63.00 would be, you're accepting a different number at a different
tolerances are
decimal
significantly tighter.
Right. So if I owe you $1,000,
no, it's not the dollars.
$1,000.01.
Dollars.
It
dollars
matters.
Is not.
It
dollars
matters.
Is not.
It's
no,
relevant.
Dollars is,
it's relevant.
Dollars is a
We're
different
counting
term.
decimal places.
Dollars only go to 2 decimal places.
We're trying
dollars
to be
only
accurate.
go to 2 decimal places usually.
We're trying to be accurate.
That's not how dollars. That's not how money works usually.
Okay, how about we start? Hey, Mobius, try Bitcoin. Mobius, use Bitcoin.
Okay, Bitcoin, whatever. How accurate do you want to be when I owe you 2 Bitcoin? How accurate do you want to be?
I want to be plus or minus. Well, let's see. I've just got -0 and plus whatever you want to give me. How about that?
So you wouldn't want the exact amount. You just
no. I mean, I would want
like
the exact amount or more. How about that?
How
You can
accurate? How accurate would you accept?
Well, I
is what
just
the
told you.
question is.
-0
okay.
plus infinity. If you want to pay me $1 bazillion for a $2 debt, fine.
God.
If you want to take, but I won't take anything less than 2. That's called uneven.
How about how many what do they call it? How many lashes? If you're owed 100 lashes, how accurate do you want me to be?
Those are
don't do
integers,
the
whole
debt
numbers.
system.
Once again, whole numbers are whole
Yeah,
numbers.
and then you say, what are you going to say? I'll have 4 more extra at the end.
I'm thinking, NASA, if we're talking at 63 feet, are you allowing for 62.51 feet?
Yeah, and if you say 63 feet, that would be correct. You would.
Right. So
So you think
if
LIGO?
somebody's working and they're asked, can you get me 63 feet? You'd be fine giving them 62 and a half.
In scientific notation and engineering notation, correct. You would be
We are
within your
not
limits.
talking about that. We're talking
Yes, we are.
about... No, we are talking
then
about
you should-
reality measurements, where they are the
Okay,
measurements.
In other words, you have never done any scientific or engineering
for
measurements.
fuck's sake.
Gotcha.
What?
See,
Hey, Phil.
if you were to go to the government and say, and the government says, I want 63
We're
feet
talking
of
about
something,
the
and you give them
surveying of the
62.5,
land at
5 feet.
LIGO.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on that real quick too.
Yeah, he doesn't
PNS,
know that bit.
PNS, if LIGO's measurements were 63 feet elevation for, say, I don't know, 1,000 horizontal feet, would LIGO, which is a laser interferometer that's 2.5 miles long at 90 degrees from its source, do you think that would be a tolerance? 62.5 would be within the tolerance of
I would have to go find the
elevation.
engineering. My guess is that their tolerances were significantly tighter than that.
Yeah, well,
They didn't
based on what
call it
though?
that. They didn't call it that, Mobius. They didn't call it 63 feet. They called it 63.00.
Right. So would 62.5 be
No.
an acceptable tolerance?
No.
No, it's
Well,
62.00. No, if you said 60, hold on.
Would be,
Hold on,
you said
Mobius.
if
Mobius,
you're doing
don't
engineering,
misquote
that would
me.
be acceptable.
Don't misquote me, Mobius. You said
Say what you
63
mean.
feet.
And stick with it.
No, you said
Own
63
it.
feet. You
Own
said
it,
63 feet. The engineering specs is 63.00 feet, which means you accept anything from 62.005 to 63.004. That's a lot different than 63 feet.
Okay. So what if the engineering drawings have 63.00 from say 600 feet to
You could be off by as much as 1,000.
I do this, NASA.
to 1,600 feet. So for a span of 1,000 feet, and it says 63.00 within the tolerances accepted in the LIGO as-built for engineering.
Well, LIGO as-built didn't do that, but
oh, it didn't.
No, it's.
Do you have different drawings listed somewhere that aren't?
No, you listed one on either end that's 63.01 on the drawings. Which you said was 63.00.
I'm looking for
You ought to
the
go back
actual
and look
drawings.
at the drawings again. I've got them. We could probably pull them up if you'd like.
Yeah, pull them up. I'm not at my computer, so yeah, pull them up.
Yeah, hang on a second.
And these are from the drawings, right? These aren't some like spreadsheet.
Yes.
These aren't some spreadsheet that you made on your computer and.
Oh, now, I'll be ugly about this. Let me think about where I put this.
I'm not trying to be ugly about it. I'm just asking.
Downloading them as PDF files. May take me a second to find these damn things. I don't remember what folder I stuck them in. Hang on a second. Here we go. Let's see.
Are you in live chat?
That's not good. L.I.G.O.
Where are you posting it, Blue? Are you in live chat?
I'm going to put it up on the screen if I can find the damn drawings. Not having good luck here. I downloaded them last night. I thought that's where I put them, but they're not in that folder. I downloaded them as PDF files. I didn't have to continue to go back and open up. Here we go. Let me see. Maybe I can put them in live chat. Let me see which one's which here. Livingston. Give me a second. I got 3 or 4 of them to go through. This is Livingston. Those are the ends. I don't really want those. I want the ones in the middle. I think this might be it. Yeah. Okay, that one there.
Yeah, I think it's from, what is it? 54.54 to 0.78 or something like that. I can't remember offhand. Something like that.
Let's have a look at this one. Well, it just gives you it gives you a PDF that you'll have to open.
PDF.
See if I can open it on my screen here and share the thing.
So the as-built drawings are they're PDFs, right?
Oh yeah.
Open them? Yeah. Is that what you're talking about, or are you talking about some other document? Because I've seen the as-built drawings, and they only list to 2 decimal points.
That's right. That's all they list.
Oh, I thought you were going to show something else. Okay.
You said it went from 00 from the 61 station 6100 station 7100 when in fact station 6100 on the drawing that I just took in here. See if I can share the screen.
Yeah, well, I hope you're not going to misrepresent what I actually said, Blue, but I may, if I'm just going off of memory, I may be incorrect as far as like where that 0.00 remains the same.
Doesn't make a lot of difference, but
no, it doesn't. But
because
I mean, if you're going to make it a point,
they've been surveying American surveying feet, won't they? Tenths and hundredths. I mean, that's what you measure to on the staff. Like we in the UK, we measure to a millimeter, right? But they're saying you're expecting us. NASA Shield's saying, well, that could be plus or minus half a millimeter around that millimeter mark that you're making. I mean, it doesn't make any difference. Yeah,
could be.
It's a pointless argument saying that. The measurements are made.
Station 6200, the measurement is 63.00. That's what they called it.
Yeah.
To 100th of a foot. The same as we measure to 100th of a meter.
I finish for 100 feet further down at station 6100, 63.01 feet. Didn't suddenly jump from 00 to 01 in that 100 feet.
No, a little less than 1/8 of an inch.
6300.
Wait. A little less than 1/8 of an inch. It didn't. Whoa, big jump, right?
Well,
0.01 feet. 0.01
You're trying to make
feet.
a big deal out of all these zeros over an
0.01 feet. We've already established like an hour ago or whatever that 0.01 feet is a little less than 1/8 of an inch.
Well, a little less than 1/8 of an inch. That's right.
Right. So is that a big jump? If for 1,000 feet it's one thing, and then it makes a huge leap to 0.01 feet.
We got a concrete
and another
expert in
100
here.
feet.
Would you like to build it this way, Rakia? Would you like to have all this 900 foot of 3.00 suddenly then change in 100 feet to 63.01? I don't think so.
You know what, Blue? If you do have it handy, maybe post the screenshot of the PDF in live chat. So I think that's where most people are. Oh, I don't see it.
Well, I posted the PDF.
Oh,
in live chat.
it's in welcome. You posted it in welcome.
It won't take the. It wouldn't take the screenshot. For whatever reason.
What? I know I've got screenshots on my PC, but I'm not at my PC right now, so.
But you can open it up and take a look at it.
Mm.
It should open. It's
Well,
the
for
drawing you're
one,
looking at.
you posted it in welcome chat, not the live chat, but whatever.
I did.
I'm sure.
Oh, wait a minute.
Sure everybody here can navigate to the.
Okay, I was in the wrong chat. My bad. Let me try that again.
I don't have it open. I'm not going to open it. I'd rather just look at a screenshot, but I can't really, tell what you're.
There you go. There you go.
Can't really tell what you're sharing or what you're not sharing. Oh, in your live stream.
And dog got it.
61.00. And then it continues past that page to the other page.
Yeah, we can open it up too. Hang on.
So how many linear feet, how many horizontal linear feet is that from 61 plus 00 to, well, it's past 69 plus 00. Right.
It's actually 900 feet. It ends up rounded to 63.00.
Rounded?
Yeah, I'd say rounded.
And you would
How
say rounded
accurate
to
is a rounded number?
And what I'm getting at mainly, and hopefully this will be clear, but probably not. But when you say that it's rounded to something, right? It's rounded to 63 feet.
It's
It's rounded to 63 from where?
Rounded to 63.00 feet.
From where though? It's rounded to 63.00 from
where?
That's
it's an elevation. It's
well,
number itself is rounded.
You're rounding the number, so it's rounded from where? Is what I'm asking.
The number itself is rounded, not from anywhere.
So 63 is just a rounded number from nowhere?
It's the elevation. It's the elevation data, the number you shoot.
Okay. So 63 is a rounded number, which is elevation that you shoot.
Yeah, this is the elevation data.
The elevation data is a rounded number, 63 feet.
Elevation data that's measured says 63.00 feet.
So the measured elevation data is 63.00 feet.
Yeah.
And 63.00 feet is rounded from what number? Are we rounding?
This is what I keep telling you. You don't understand this. These numbers, at some point, one of these numbers, somewhere along that line, would actually be 63.000 or 0.0000. It's possible.
Okay. So
likelihood is none of them are 63.000. likelihood is they all fall within 62.995 and 63.004. That's what that tells you.
Well, 63.004, that's what, half an inch?
No, 63.004 is 63.00.
But
This is
it's
what rounding does.
0.04 of a foot is what, like half an inch?
0.004
or is that a foot? That's an
is
inch. That's about an inch. That's almost
no,
an inch, right?
0.004 feet is 2.5 thousandths of a foot.
No, 0.004 you said. 63.
0.004
You said
feet.
62.95 and 63.04.
No, I said
It's a
62.
gnat's chuff. We're not
You're
bothered
misquoting
about
me.
it.
62 point. Shut up, Bev. 62.005. I'm sorry. 62.995. 63.004. Any number that falls between in that range comes 63.00 to 2 decimal places. It's just that simple.
Why go away for 10 minutes and we haven't gone anywhere?
But that was the most peaceful 10 minutes of my entire life.
Well, you haven't gotten anything, have you?
Rob's working, right? Rob's a working man.
Yeah, I'm on my third set of brakes.
Hell yeah, Rob.
Although I told myself I wasn't going to work that hard today because it's my birthday, but I've been busting ass all morning.
Oh shit, that's right, Rob.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, man.
Yeah, it's been a good day so far.
Brake pads.
I only dumped one coffee all over the ground.
Well, hey, when they said happy B-Day, did they mean happy break day?
Yeah, it's been brakes all day.
Has Flat Earth Rocker been around lately?
Not lately. I talked to him a couple days ago.
Oh. But you know him then?
Yeah, we talk on the regular. He's a cool dude in my books. He's just a little high strung, that's all.
Pent up aggravation. No, he takes it out in a very good way.
It's really actually pretty interesting. You look at it, you see what a curve does. Station 7000 was still showing 63.00. 7100, you get a 63.01. You got 01 for 3 spaces. Prior to that, you had 9 of them. Now you got 3 at 01. But as
So
you continue, 02 is only 2 spaces. 03 is only 2. The further we go, the closer those numbers, faster those numbers start changing. That's what a curve does.
It just depends on how you imagine it, right? It's either curving up or
it's the way a curve works. It's not imagination. It is the way
what I'm saying
works.
What I'm saying is the structure is either curving up or the ground is curving down. Right? It just depends on how you look at it, how you imagine it.
We have a very good reason to believe that the tube is not curving up.
Well, if it were, how would that affect what's going on?
Yeah. But hang on, what's the good reason?
Yeah, that's my selling point. But
We know the laser's in the center of that tube.
So how big is a tube? How big is the laser? How much room for error? What I mean, technically
Oh,
speaking, how much room do we have?
0.002.
They had a very
PNS,
tight tolerance on it.
I don't know why PNS is even talking about it. He doesn't even know how long the arms are.
Off the top of my head, I didn't know. Sorry.
No, but Blue and I are trying to talk about it. Blue's done some extensive research on it. I've done a fair amount. We're trying to just discuss it.
Well, for all the
Besides
for all the research you
0.002
did, you certainly
has
don't know
nothing to
much
do
about
with the
engineering
question.
specs. For fuck's sake.
0.002, your
You're
statement,
here to
your
poison the
interjection.
well. Can you please stop?
Your interjection of 0.002 has nothing to do with the topic that we were just discussing, or the question that I just asked Blue. So, if you don't mind.
They held the tube, I think, to an RMS of about 4 millimeters. Deviation in it.
That's how much room there is?
Sorry, say again.
That's how much room you have for the laser within the tube, or is that how big the laser is?
The tube is 4 feet in diameter, I believe.
Right. So technically, if they started at the, I mean, I don't know. I haven't been there, but hypothetically, if they started at the low end of the tube and ended at the high end of the tube, then they've got a difference in elevation of 4 feet margin for elevation difference.
Believe me, they're not doing that.
I'm not saying that they are or aren't. I'm just saying hypothetically, which I'm sure you can agree if you're honest that hypothetically that could be the case. But I'm not saying that they are or aren't. Right?
Well, I would say that if that were to happen, the experiment wouldn't work
crazy.
at all.
Right. Why is that?
You would not get a return. It's got to be really almost dead on it. This thing is bouncing back and forth 100 times?
Actually, it's like 300 times per second or some shit like that, and it's also accurate. Like its return is accurate to the width of about 1/10,000th of the width of a proton, which I don't know how big a proton is, but I imagine it's pretty freaking narrow error margin for its return. Yeah. So
each time you reflect a laser off a mirror, you double the angle of incidence.
Right, and especially if that mirror's got any inconsistencies or any kind of.
If you got this thing going back and forth 200 or 300 times, if you're off even the smallest amount when you start, that thing's going to walk its way all the way off the mirror very quickly.
Right, exactly, and especially when there's not just 2 mirrors, but it's actually passing through 2 like half mirrors, right? It's partially reflective mirrors in between that it's got to pass through and bounce back and forth from, and it's also got to split at the apex. It's got to split the laser so that it goes at a 90-degree angle or a right angle to the source laser. So it's actually taking one laser beam, splitting it in 2, and then that's how it. And then they use the actuators at the mirrors, which are, we can talk about those too if you want. But they use the actuators at the mirrors to adjust the length of the laser so that they can determine the phasing of the laser at the collector, right? But you already knew all that shit, so.
Hey, I missed quite a bit. Did y'all ever talk about how they line the tubes up?
Oh no.
No, not yet. There's a lot.
I was just checking. I didn't want to like be redundant or anything. I was just seeing if y'all talked about that. Sorry.
Oh, we were just talking about the concrete.
Yeah, because the concrete really, I mean, it's like a foundation for the tube, but that's not
Yeah.
the actual.
That's not how they aligned it. No.
Right. F.E. Dogma did a video on how they aligned it. I thought that was pretty good. But I think
What were the
his was
tools used to
more.
line them? If anybody knows, what were the tools used to line the tubes up or align them, situate them?
Well, they use
GPS system.
Yeah, they use a couple different tools and a couple different methods to line it up.
They used the coincidence bubble level, didn't they?
Yeah,
Some kind of differential GPS deal.
Yeah, they
Well, I
use the
don't know
GPS system with a coincidence bubble level for elevation
I
check.
don't know what a differential GPS unit is. I've never
I
heard
don't know
that
either.
term.
I'm not pretending to be an expert on how they align the tube. No.
It's a coincidence bubble level on top of a
But
GPS
Bev is
unit.
claiming to be an expert on it, so he can tell us about a
Well,
coincidence bubble level.
They did though.
I never read anything about that in any of the documentation they put out, Bev, but you know better than I do.
Well, Blue, just for shits and giggles, F.E. Dogma, I'm sure you've heard of that guy. He's got a couple videos on it. He's got some interesting stuff on there. And I'm sure it's right down your alley. He subscribes to that whole model thing too, so he's probably like, you guys would probably see eye to eye on a lot of stuff. You're breaking up, Buster.
There's a picture for you. Blue. That's a coincidence bubble level. Might be like a bit like your old school one, right?
Oh. There's a vague similarity there, but differential GPS. There we go. It was quite a trick. I know that. Aligning those tubes is very critical.
Yeah,
the
the
specification.
GPS. Sorry.
Their specification, as I read it, required the alignment to be within, I think, 5 millimeters RMS. They actually got less than that. So
I have a question, and I know that you've done a little bit of research on this, and maybe you know this, or maybe you don't. I don't know. But do you happen to know if they use the GPS specifically for the horizontal alignment or the vertical alignment, or both, or what? And what was their margin for error on the vertical, and what are the capabilities of the GPS unit that they use within whatever accuracy for vertical alignment?
I know you're asking a lot
I
of
know that was
questions
kind of a lot.
I don't have specific answers for.
Wow, those were
I know that was kind of a lot.
I know that
I gotta say
that they reported an RMS deviation of 4 millimeters.
So it's within 4 millimeters off from 0.00 millimeters.
Root mean square deviation of the true position down the length of the tube.
Now, like I said, I mean, GPS is, I mean, it's kind of well known. Maybe it's not well known. I don't know. But from my looking into it, I've discovered that it seems to be pretty commonly known that GPS is more accurate for horizontal alignments versus vertical. Like it's error. It's error margin for accuracy on vertical alignments are.
Depends on how many satellites you have.
Mobius cut off then. So once we've got it worked out for accuracy and all of that, where does is this going to go anywhere down to what these numbers mean, or because when they would have been surveying those things, they would have been surveying them with the surveying rod, right?
Yeah.
Measuring.
Well, let's simply cut to the chase. One of two things has to be true. If those tubes are straight, if those tubes form straight lines, one of two things has to be true. Either the Earth is curved, or the elevation data is wrong. Because you can't have 64 feet elevation at both ends and 63 feet in the middle and connect those three with a straight line. Now, can you?
Is that on one of the arms?
The other hand, huh?
That's on one of the arms.
Sorry, I had a phone call.
It does the same thing on all of them. Yeah.
Am I still coming through?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, sorry about that.
It's much harder to analyze this on the east arm at Livingston or either one of the arms at in Washington. Those arms are not sitting nicely with both ends at the same elevation, essentially. Which is why I had to have a good laugh when you guys were talking about the mirrors hanging plumb. The east arm at Livingston is 4 feet lower on the south end than it is on the north end.
Lower from Lower from
it
what?
Starts
From
at 64 feet and goes down to 60 feet.
Right.
And the same thing happens on both the arms out in Washington. Well, clearly those mirrors are not hanging plumb, or they couldn't. You hit the tube about halfway down if you do that.
Well, hold on a second. You're saying that the mirrors couldn't be hanging plumb?
No, they can't be.
So how do pendulums hang? How do you determine plumb?
I mean, how do you determine plumb?
Well,
plumb is what it is.
Right, but how do you determine it? I know plumb is what it is. That's a non-statement. Come on, Blue.
If you've got an imagination at all,
I'm not trying to imagine. I'm asking
Imagine
you.
one end of this 4-foot tube, 4 feet lower than the other end of it in terms of elevation.
Okay, really quick, just to get back on track. How do you determine plumb? Like if you're just out in the middle of nowhere and you got a string and something you can tie onto that string,
we have a thing called
how would you determine plumb? Right. You could make a plumb bob with the string and a.
Now, if the surface of that mirror is plumb with a plumb bob, and the elevation by 4 feet, what's going to happen? Would you even hit the other mirror on the other end?
So, are you saying that the mirrors have to be perpendicular to that laser? I mean, we talked about how fast that thing's shooting that laser back and forth within how many seconds, and how accurate within 1/10,000th of the width of a proton it's got to be. So would you say that the mirror has to be like pretty darn perfectly perpendicular to that laser beam?
Perpendicular to the laser beam, right.
Right. And you're saying that it cannot be hanging plumb?
If the surface is plumb, if the surface of the mirror is plumb with Earth's gravity and the elevation is 4 feet different, what's going to happen?
Well, I'm asking you if you're saying that the mirrors themselves in reality cannot be plumb.
No, the surface of them cannot be plumb on that arm. They can't be.
And if they are pendulums, how are they not plumb?
The suspension system of the mirrors is plumb, absolutely. But the surface of the mirror does not have to be parallel with the suspension.
But the mirrors are the bob of the plumb bob pendulum.
It
right?
doesn't matter.
It's a
I've shown that. I've shown that. I did a video and
they
showed
call
you
it the
that.
quad.
They can
in
tilt the
quotations.
mirrors. Mobius, come on.
You can cant those
But-
mirrors any direction you want to. It could be
Does
aimed straight
anybody-
up, and it'd still be a plumb bob, wouldn't it?
And this is an open question for anybody on the call. Does anybody have any literature that says that they do, in fact, tilt the mirror to any particular degree to account for the
It's hanging from
difference in
four
plumb?
lines. It's hanging
No,
from four.
that's never been
four
found
lines.
yet, Mobius. There's nothing like that.
Can I clarify?
Look at the damn picture of it.
Are you saying, Blue, that the tube is 4 foot lower, or the foundation, the concrete foundation that the tube is bracketed to with mounts is 4 feet lower?
I'm saying both.
So the tube is sloped by 4 foot.
Yes, it is.
Why would they do that?
Well, it's the way they set up their tangent plane. Lucky.
Way they set up, wouldn't both tubes have to be on the same, if you want to use tangent, but horizontal to work?
No.
So why would they have to be so accurate with the tube by millimeters if you're saying it could be 4 foot off? It could be a 4 foot slope.
I'm not saying it's 4 feet off, Rocky.
Well, you're
The
saying that
elevation-
one's 4 foot lower than the other, right? Or it's
and
4
the
foot
elevation
sloping.
change. I'm not just saying it. You can look on the drawings.
Yeah, and I asked you
elevation
why.
is 4 feet
Why
down.
do you think they did that?
I told
I
you.
mean, they obviously did it on purpose,
How
right?
they set up. It's how they set up their tangent planes.
Yeah, but for what reason is what I'm at? Do you know what reason? I don't know.
I don't
But
know.
why would they
Probably to save moving dirt, if I had to make a guess.
save moving dirt in a multi-billion-dollar project?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I would go with something different, I guess. That didn't register quickly, but save 4 foot of dirt.
Well, no, I don't know. Just a guess on my part.
Wouldn't he dig in the
I would go
canals
with-
for that?
I would take
moving dirt?
I would take a mulligan on that one. I don't understand if you have to have a horizontal tube. Like they go through great. We've talked for
No.
weeks.
No. You don't have to have a horizontal tube. You have to
Then
have a
why'd they
straight
work so
tube.
hard to make the west wing or the
It has
other
to be
wing
a straight tube. That's all.
so it could be sloping?
Horizontal.
It can be sloping.
Sure. But
This just doesn't add up. Does it not add up to other people?
it's
Or am I
fine to
thinking
me.
wrong? You know, I said other people besides me and you.
Yeah, I've been trying to clarify all this for a while, Rocky.
Why in the world would one of the tubes be so precise, following the curvature of the Earth, and the other one is sloping
They both are.
4 feet?
Rocky, they both follow the curvature of the Earth.
But one's
Same
sloping
thing
4
happens.
foot.
The same thing happens when you analyze that east arm. You see the same thing. Its elevations are a foot too low in the center.
What are you shooting these the drawings that you're talking about? That you're taking these elevations. Now, keep in mind, I haven't even looked at the drawing. Are you shooting the top of the foundation or the tube itself?
No, it's the foundation.
Then who the hell cares? The mounting brackets could have. Surely the mounting brackets would have adjustments, right? So as long as you get the elevation of the foundations within a certain margin of that mounting bracket, you mount the bracket and mount the tube on top of it, and you can adjust it to make the tube slope or whatever
Okay.
be straight.
All right. Do you think they intentionally made each of those foundations 1 foot low in the center?
Well,
No
plus or
good
minus,
fucking
right?
reason.
Plus or
No
minus.
good reason.
To
Go ahead
save
and
on
just make
dirt.
them a foot low.
To save on dirt.
Why not?
I would say to save on dirt.
Didn't want to shift an awful lot of dirt in the middle somewhere or whatever. I don't know.
Really should try working on a big job site sometime.
It's meant to
Rocky,
be
like
the
Yeah,
greatest job.
like I'm doing right now as we
maybe
speak.
maybe a
Like I'm
power
doing right now,
plant
you
like
asshole.
that.
When you
Where
asked
we
me a
need
question a
to,
while ago,
where
you
we
know
need
why I
to be
couldn't
sure
answer? Because
that we
I'm on
don't
a
spend a lot of
huge
money.
project right now.
Oh, really? How big?
Yeah, oh, really?
A power plant, huh? How about that?
Oh, yeah, I've worked in a power plant before. Yes, I have. And
Hey,
many
really?
other plants, yeah.
What'd you pour?
Foundations. I poured many foundations for the city, for the state, for the power plants, for energy,
Name one.
for Toledo
Name
Bend
one.
Power Plant, a nuclear plant, for Shell Oil, for Exxon Refinery. Who else you want me to name? I've worked for Jacobs Engineering, you ass pre-assumption, presumptuous, condescending asshole. Jacobs
Thank you,
Engineering
Rocky.
has a headquarters right here in Baton Rouge.
Awfully glad to hear all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who's complaining about ad homs?
Yeah, and when he's going to tell me, oh, I don't believe you, you're working on a big project. You're not smart enough to work on a good. That's what he
I
was
didn't
implying.
say that.
Yeah, with your condescending tone. Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you
What
did,
big
Clay.
projects have you worked on?
Oh, I said you needed to maybe work at a power plant sometime.
Yeah, like
Start
like
today.
like a nuclear power
No,
plant here in St.
start-
Francisville.
Oh, yeah, they're building a new
Toledo
nuclear
Bend.
plant there.
Yeah, they do.
New plant.
Yeah, they do.
Were you out there when they were setting grade?
I was out there in many different stages of that project and many of the refineries here. Yeah, I did refractory work. I did pipe and steel work. I did refoundry work. Did site work. What else you want to know about me, Blue?
Refoundry.
Before you make refinery work.
Refinery. Okay.
Yeah, refractory. You know, when you put insulation on like big boilers and things.
Oh, refractory. Yeah.
Yeah, on the pipe and fab. Yeah, I know a little bit about bending steel, strength of steel, projects, refineries. I know a little bit about that.
Oh, I'm impressed.
I'm sure you are. Again, why I couldn't answer your question a while ago is because I was on site. I'm working right now on doing things y'all are talking about. We're using lasers and using the tools that we're talking about. I just don't understand why they would. I mean, I guess I'm gonna look into it. I don't care if you know. I mean, I didn't even know it was 4 foot difference. That's a slope, right?
That's an elevation change, yes. And that's the way the site is. When you look at it,
it's a slope, though.
You look at the way the site, and when you look at the way the site is laid out,
yeah,
from east to west, it's fairly level across there. Going north to south, arm runs, it is not level.
So the arm going east to west is sloping, correct? 4 foot.
So when you started making fun of me about this, Rocky, you're saying it to probably minimize the dirt work. If you wanted to make that thing level, you would have to pile up 4 feet of fucking dirt for 2.5 miles.
Hold on.
Which is no big deal. Maybe dig a canal next to it.
Exactly, you took the words out of
Maybe dig a canal. You know how long it take me? It take me less than 4 days to do that project. Build up 4 foot, 2 miles on one arm. No big deal. Give me one excavator and one dozer. About 3-4 days. Yeah, I live about 6 miles from that project.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, to save dirt. I don't think you really believe that. I just think you said, as your.
No, I think I really do believe that, Rocky.
You think they slope that arm 4 foot to save dirt?
Yeah.
Oh my God! You're really stupid, right? You're really not smart.
Rocky. Please.
I'm fine with that. To save dirt.
I can read just like you can, and I can show you in their description where they talk about the way they situated those things to minimize the site work, the site impacts.
To save dirt.
That's what they're talking about. Not having to move a lot of dirt around.
Right. So just slope one of the arms 4 foot. Yeah.
We do. Well, you know what they do when they build a highway, right? Well, you live in flatland, so you probably don't. But you get up here in these hills, and they will find an elevation where they can take the
30 minutes north. I'm in the hills.
And shove them down in the valleys. What they don't want to do is have to haul dirt in or haul dirt out.
Dig a canal, yeah, or dig
Make
a
it
canal.
all work.
What?
And that's what they did there. They said that in their damn description. Now,
Oh, I didn't
you
know
can
they
take a
said
look
it.
with them.
Oh, I didn't know they said it. I didn't know they said they
Yeah,
sloped.
they
They
did.
sloped the arm 4 foot to save dirt work.
Yeah, they did. They said it.
Really?
Yeah.
Save on dirt.
And I'll find
L.I.G.O.
it for you. Now, have you?
You know they're building another arm. I wonder if they're saving on dirt there. Poor dirt guy.
Are you done pitching your little fit now, Rocky?
I'm not pitching a fin. I just thought it was
Yeah,
funny
you are.
when you
You're
said
acting
it.
like a child.
No,
You're
really,
acting
I'm
like
not.
a petulant child, Rocky.
You said it was your guess. Now you're saying that you know that they did it. You have a citation for it. Which is it? Did someone send that to you?
I've got a citation for it somewhere, Rocky.
You just said it was your first guess. Right after I questioned you, you said, well, it's just my guess.
I don't think that's what I said, but we'll go back.
Yeah, you probably don't remember.
We'll go back and play the tape.
Yeah, go play the tape. Play it right now. Play it right now.
It's recording.
You don't think you use
Yeah,
guess?
for everybody. That'd be cool.
It's my first guess. It's just my first guess.
Okay, well, all right.
And then I said, well, just maybe
I'll go
take a
with that.
mulligan because it just doesn't add up,
I'll
right?
go with that. I'll go with that. My
Yeah,
first guess is based on something I read, too, when I think about it.
You're probably going to bring up something they minimized site work.
Yeah,
Meaning
that's
they
what
didn't
they
want to
said.
add 4 foot of dirt to make. I want.
That's what
Okay,
they
let's
said,
say they
Rocky.
did that. Let's
I'm
move
gonna find
on
it,
from the
Rocky.
tape.
I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna shove it straight up your ass, Rocky.
Yeah, good for you. So let's just say that is true. Why do you think the arm is sloped? I don't understand.
Do you not
If
understand?
a laser is
Are the
firing,
words too complicated for you? What part of to save dirt work is confusing to you, Rocky?
no, I'm talking about
the
I'm talking about the inner workings of the laser
all kinds of
inside the
degrees
slope.
from LSU. What the hell? You can't understand simple English?
I didn't go
What's
to
the deal,
LSU.
Rocky?
I went to a school about an hour away from LSU. I couldn't
make
get
it
into
to
LSU.
huh? Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't afford it.
That's one of the cheapest
I
schools
do.
around.
I am a season ticket holder to LSU, though. Does that count?
My book.
It doesn't. Find it yet?
Yeah, I'll find that. I'll find that and send it to you.
Okay, so let's move on. So let's say you're right, totally right. 4 feet of slope in one arm, different than the other arm, right? Like it's one arm is basically horizontal, and one arm is sloping 4 feet.
Yeah.
That wouldn't affect the laser?
Well.
So they just adjust the mirror?
Yeah.
How do they adjust the mirror?
Well, maybe Mr. Montreal could enlighten us on that.
Does that mean you don't know, or you want
I
SE
know.
to
I
take
just want to hear Montreal talk for me.
Well, you're passing it.
I don't know.
Quickly.
Just the mirror.
Know if SE, I don't know if SE can hear or not.
Oh man, I want to hear SE talk too.
Yeah, me too. I like when SE talks. He probably would be civil and talk to me. Sloping the mirror, adjusting the mirrors to adjust for the slope of one of the arms that they sloped on purpose to save dirt, so they would have to adjust the mirrors.
Well, you have to adjust the splitter as well.
Yeah, you can make all the fun of it you want to, Rocky.
So when the beam splits,
you can look at the site drawings and the topos and all of that and see why they did what they did.
Well, when they split the beam, do they split the beam? Does that side have to angle it down to adjust for the slope?
That's what George said. George said that was why it was the apex there, where the tangent point was, because it'd have to be. Because that would be the only point it could be perpendicular, right, to split the beam.
Right at the splitter, right?
Yeah.
That would have to be the tangent point.
Well, Blue put it in the arm.
Really?
Yeah, but if one is horizontal and one is sloping, and that splitter is the tangent, then that's going to be a problem.
That's a special mirror, that one, at the splitter, isn't it?
You're going to have lasers ping-ponging off that.
You guys are idiots. You guys are total idiots.
We are?
Yeah, you are. Oh my God.
Oh, please help me, Blue. I'm at a red light. When it turns green, what do I do?
Somehow or the other, that damn thing knows where level is. Are you kidding me?
If it was pendulum, then it would automatically be plumb, and they wouldn't have to design some crazy shape for a mirror that has to be perfectly flat.
It's not a crazy shape. It's hanging from 4 lines.
Right.
Do you know?
I gotta
what
call
the
my
lines
buddy.
And I showed you that. I've shown you that in a video. I did one.
Yeah. No. I
Show
know.
you how all you got to do is
your
adjust the length of
dowel.
those lines, and you can adjust the angle of
showed
the
your
mirror
dowel.
very quickly, very simply. There's nothing
Do
to
you know
it.
how the? Do you know how
Even
the,
a flat earther could do it. It's so simple. A flat earther.
Yeah, look at you. You can't help yourself. Hey, did you find that saved on dirt deal yet?
Is that rule 5, Blue?
I'm not looking
Rule
for it right
5.
now, Rocky.
It's not about flat Earth debate. This.
You go tap dance someplace else. Okay, I've had enough.
Yeah, rule 5, Blue, of your own server.
I will find it, and when I do, I will come and shove it.
I'm sure you'll make a video of it. How they save dirt.
Actually, I probably will.
I'm sure you will. Congratulations. I hope you get a lot of
turning
views.
into a shit show. Blue, can I ask you a question?
Oh, there he is.
There he is. He wants you to explain the mirrors, how they adjust them, Etsy.
How they adjust the mirrors themselves? Oh, that's very, very complicated affair.
What do they adjust them for? Because when I talked to the guy in the control room at L.I.G.O, who is part of the crew that does know how they adjust the mirrors and why they adjust the mirrors, he said nothing about saving dirt and sloping one of the arms so they have to adjust the mirror. He talked about the gravitational field. He talked about what was the particles moving
about
through.
the Earth being curved.
About the magnetic. No, he never mentioned Earth curve. He never mentioned that. He talked about the magnetic.
About that.
Well, he said I could
Why
go.
are you leaving that part out, Rocky?
He said, but
I told you the Earth
because
was
he didn't say Earth curve because he didn't talk
what did
about
he say
that.
then?
He said that I could go to.
Hey, you just got through saying that's what he said. The Earth was curved.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you've said that many times.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you have.
No, I didn't. I said when the first time I called him, I asked him if the arms were horizontal.
A big long song and dance about how you called him and asked him one simple question. Went into a big spiel about how the Earth was curved and how they had to take into account the curvature of the Earth. Now, don't lie about it, Rocky. Yeah, you're the one
I
that said
didn't. You
all
can't
that.
find that.
Yes, you
I'll
did.
tell you exactly word for word what I said. Yeah, I'll bet. I'll bet. He didn't say that. I might have added that. He said, when I asked him if the arms were horizontal, arms, plural, both of them, he said yes. Now you're telling me one of them sloped. So he said yes. And as soon as I asked that question, he says, you can go to the beach and see a boat going over the curve, like see the bottom of a boat disappearing. And I said to myself, that's weird. He's talking about the curvature of the Earth when I'm asking him about the arms of L.I.G.O being horizontal. I didn't ask him anything about the curvature of the Earth. I still haven't. I've called him twice.
Okay, so you were lying a few minutes ago. Then the guy actually
I didn't lie. He didn't say anything about the curvature of the Earth.
You're trying to represent it some other way, and you're just wrong.
He did not say anything.
Yeah, now you're getting all tangled up, aren't you?
No, I'm not. He told me to go to the beach.
Your line straight now, Rocky.
No, I'm not.
The guy talked about the curvature of the Earth.
He's not, Blue. I heard him explain this story before.
No, he's not. Boats disappearing bottom up from the beach is not Earth curve, Blue.
Exactly what
No, he didn't say that. No, he didn't. He never said we took into account curvature of the Earth.
He probably assumed he was talking to an intelligent human being. He didn't realize he was talking to Rocky.
Is that what you're going?
Blue.
What I'm going with.
Blue, you're going off. I'm getting tangled.
Yeah, you are.
I talked to the guy. I'm telling you what I said. Right? Yeah, no, I'm not confused. I asked him the first question I asked him was, are the arms at L.I.G.O in Livingston horizontal? Arms, both of them. And he said yes. Do you think he's lying?
Do you think the drawings are lying?
Do you think the guy that I asked if the arms
No,
were horizontal?
I don't think if you ask that
Do you think
question
he's stupid?
to somebody like that,
Maybe
out of
he's
the
a
clear
flat
blue,
earther, so
with
he's
no idea
automatically
of
dumb.
the mission you were on. He didn't have any idea.
What does that have to
you were
do
up
with
to,
the
Rocky.
question that I asked?
So you pull an ambush on a guy like that,
Are
and then
the
you're
arms at
confused about why he
LIGO?
answers you
Why
and
would
says,
he
yes,
even
they're
think?
horizontal.
Why
Do
would
you think
he
a
even
4-foot
think?
elevation change over 2.5 miles could loosely be described as horizontal? I would.
No. I would describe that as a slope.
Really?
Loosely, yeah. Every time. If you tell me something,
if
you tell me something is dropping you know, if something is dropping a millimeter over distance, you know what I would call that?
Horizontal
a slope.
Would be what you got
Yeah,
there.
I would say.
Yeah, they're
4
roughly
foot,
horizontal. What's your
4 foot
problem?
difference.
Oh,
I
well,
would
maybe
say
he
a 4
did
foot
say,
difference
I am hard of hearing.
2.5 miles.
I am hard of hearing, so maybe he said roughly
What
horizontal.
percentage of that? What percentage is 4 feet out of 2.5 miles?
Oh, I'd have to get on my. I'm stupid,
What's your
Blue. I
slope
can't
on
believe
that?
you're asking a flat earther questions like that. But
Yeah,
maybe I am hard of hearing, so maybe he said roughly horizontal because people use roughly horizontal all the time. I've heard that all my life. Roughly, it's roughly horizontal. I'm almost pregnant. I would describe that as a slope, wouldn't you, Blue the engineer?
Not necessarily, depending on if
when would you say ever it's roughly horizontal except on Discord in a flat earth debate?
As opposed to what, Rocky?
Which you brought up, by the way.
Yes, it's horizontal. Cubes are not standing vertically. Yes, they're horizontal.
Both arms?
Both of them, horizontal.
Okay. So they are both.
Oh, you didn't ask him how close they were, did you? You didn't ask him if there was any slope on it.
I didn't.
Horizontal. How would you answer that?
That's because most people know horizontals don't slope.
You're right. I didn't ask him if the arms were sloping. Once he said they were both horizontal, then I'll be honest. I just assumed they were both on the same horizontal plane. Because if they're shooting lasers, to me it seems like they would have to be on the same horizontal plane.
You could have looked at them yourself and found out, couldn't you? But you didn't.
So Blue, just real quick,
is
your argument relying
ambush?
On
your
assumption that some guy is being vague?
Say what?
Sorry, is your argument relying on your assumption that some guy is being vague about what horizontal is? Is that
I'm not making an argument one way or the other.
Well, the guy said horizontal.
It sounded like
all we're doing here now is just talking about some secondhand bullshit story that Rocky is telling.
Yeah, L.I.G.O, the guy in the control room.
I don't believe Rocky on a stack of fucking Bibles.
You believe in the Bible, Blue?
I don't believe you called anybody Rocky.
Really? Twice?
I really don't.
Same guy.
I'm calling you a liar.
Okay. I'm cool with that.
And even if you got a hold of the guy control room, all the guy control room does is push the buttons. He's not the engineer. He's not the scientist. He's just hired
That's
there.
what he said. The mirrors are controlled by a computer program.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's what he told me. And he told me
the guy that works at L.I.G.O isn't a scientist.
He talked about neutrinos.
The guy pushing the buttons?
Talked about electromagnetism. He talked about
another guess.
So now you're assuming what the guy pushing the button in the control room is.
Yeah, I'm assuming that he didn't engineer the thing. That he's probably not, he's probably hired there to push buttons.
He's in the control room at L.I.G.O. You don't think?
Yeah, like the guy in the control room at the nuclear power plant didn't build the place, or isn't a nuclear scientist either.
This isn't the girl at the front desk taking reservations for a field trip. This is a guy in the control room at L.I.G.O. You know they're building a third arm there, right? I'm sure y'all know that. I mean, being so smart and all.
I don't know how they're gonna align that laser and align those mirrors with the third arm if the tangent point is
it's separate than the other two. From what he told me when I actually didn't call him, I'm actually lying about that according to Blue, what he told me was the third arm was totally separate, a separate vacuum chamber and a separate deal is to measure. What was that? I actually forget what it was. Bev, do you remember? Something about optics. Bev might have left.
As a
What was
matter
that
of fact,
name?
I remember because the first time I heard about it, it was from you, and I checked up on it. Yeah,
what
they're
was it?
doing. They're building a separate facility to do light research.
Yeah, something about light and optics, but it had a name. We said we were going to look into it, and I never did.
They're
But
not
anyway,
building LIGO on. They're building some other experiment on the same site, is what you're saying.
yeah, but
You're
it's a
lying
tube.
about
It's
that
just
too,
like
right?
I'm
You're
lying.
lying
It's the
about
same.
that too.
It's
not
the
a third
same
arm for
tube.
LIGO. It's a
Yeah, that's
separate
lying.
experiment to do with something else altogether. Okay.
Yeah, on the LIGO site.
Now,
yeah, if you want to call that lying. Yeah.
Keep talking, Rocky.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Make a video
Truth
about
will
that
come
too.
out, won't it?
Yeah,
Truth will come
it
out
has a
eventually, won't
separate
it?
vacuum chamber and a separate
Okay.
tube.
Yeah.
I think I
So it has nothing
specifically
to do
said
with
that.
LIGO.
I think I specifically said it was separate from the LIGO tube.
Now we're starting to get the straight story.
Listen to this guy.
That's quite nice. Thank you, Rocky.
Maybe review the tape on this one.
Come on, guys, man.
Maybe you forgot, Blue, when I said it is totally separate from the other two
Off
arms.
your attack dog, Betsy.
Yeah.
You guys have jumped me about
Come on,
everybody
Blue.
else. Shut Rocky up.
Come on,
Okay,
Blue.
guys, knives in,
done
knives
anything.
back in the seeth. Let's get back to normality.
Yeah, there's a separate tube other than the other two tubes. It's a smaller, it's shorter, and it has its own. They're building a foundation for the vacuum chamber, and it's going to study the effects of light somehow. And he called it a specific name, but it's definitely separate
I
than
think
the
it
other
was
two.
squeezing. Squeezing, was it?
Optical.
Yeah, there was some. I can't recall it either.
I'm probably lying about that. I got to call the guy in the control room for the first time and ask him again.
No, as a matter of fact, I heard the scientist herself talk about it. It's something about. Anyways, we'll get into that another time.
I'm gonna go call him right now. Hang on. This should be open.
No speaker.
344 here.
No speaker, Rocky. We can hear it.
Why'd you have to do that? Have you never asked them yourself, Blake? You never called them yourself?
There's no reason to call them myself. Why do I want to do that?
I don't know.
Those guys are busy. They got a job to do.
Why do you
they
not
got
want to
better
listen
things
to
do
what
than
he says?
than to play around and answer silly ass questions from some dipshit that thinks the Earth is flat.
No, he doesn't. Like what? This isn't about that, is it? It's about LIGO, I think.
Yeah, one thing I got to say about the mirror thing. Just for the fact that somebody says that those mirrors are 4 foot difference in elevation, right? That's what you said, right, Blue?
They are.
Well, that renders the whole project useless.
They're just like my Cavendish is useless. I got you, SC.
No, that's a different issue. I didn't say it was useless. We were having an issue about the detection part in Haiti, but we're not in that now. We're into LIGO. Those mirrors have to be absolutely plumb. Like the plumbest you've ever plumbed in your life, Blue.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
All right. And you can explain how somehow or the other the elevation difference is taken into account.
Well, I heard the scientist herself talk about it, and they were having issues how to align the mirrors. That's after they got them plumb and perpendicular and absolutely level and straight. There's no question about that.
Well, I think there is.
There can be, Blue, because first of all, are you aware there's more than 2 mirrors?
There's a lot of mirrors in there. There's a lot of mirrors in there, Montreal.
Are you familiar with the Perot cavity?
I've not looked at that in a while, but yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in there.
Right. So once the beam leaves, it goes into a splitter. Right? There's more mirrors before that, but let's not get into that. I just want to say the complexity of this mechanism we're talking about here. So it leaves that mirror, then it enters another mirror, the Perot cavity, and there's two mirrors, and they bounce each other 300 times per second, something like that. It's been a while since I looked into this. Then they have to exit, hit another mirror, go back. Do you understand? You see how many mirrors are involved here? I don't want to get too technical. But it's crucial, absolutely essential, that this thing is perfectly straight, level. The mirrors are plumb and perpendicular. Did I come through there? Or am I?
I think your sound went for a little bit.
I got a phone call there. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're back.
Did I come through at the end of the sentence that they have to be perfectly straight, level, plumb, and perpendicular?
I'd like to see where that's said.
Did you not understand the accuracy and the complexity of the?
I heard what you said, Montreal. I want to hear it from somebody that knows what they're talking about.
Right. Very simply, just Google L.I.G.O. There's 10 YouTube videos, and you'll hear exactly what I told you from the scientist's mouth. That's where I got it from, Blue.
Yeah, I already posted a screenshot of a page with text explaining that it bounces back and forth 300 times. Not 300 times per second, and the lasers bounce the light, not each other.
Yeah.
But apparently...
The light, obviously, genius. What do you think they bounce?
That you've forgotten the details.
You hear what this guy just said?
Yeah, I know.
Did you hear what you just said? You said the mirrors have to be straight, plumb, perpendicular, and horizontal.
Yeah.
I was talking about the whole system.
You said the mirrors have to be plumb and horizontal.
Lasers.
Do you not understand how this thing works? You want me to re-explain it again?
Yeah, I actually read the document I screenshotted and posted. That was how I knew which bit of it to screenshot.
Okay, so how do you figure if it's 3 foot difference from one end to the other arm? How do you figure this mechanism works?
The mirrors at the correct angle to reflect the laser light back to where they need it to go.
And how do they do that? If it's off by 4 feet?
Adjusting
the mirrors. The mirror isn't vertical.
Does that be perpendicular though, right?
Exactly.
So do you think they're not aligned with each other?
Yeah, they're aligned with each other.
So if it is horizontal and it's on a horizontal plane, the mirrors have to be perpendicular to that laser that's traveling horizontal, right?
Absolutely.
And if it's on a change in elevation, it have to be perpendicular to the center line of the tube.
You can't have a change in elevation on the horizontal, Blue.
I didn't say anything about the horizontal. I said an elevation difference. 4 feet, all I've got to do is be perpendicular to the center line of the tube. Do you not understand that, Bev?
Like I said, again, if it's horizontal, then it can't have an elevation change, can it?
It is not horizontal. It has an elevation change.
But I thought we said it was horizontal.
I thought we said it was roughly horizontal.
Oh.
What?
Well, like
there's no such thing.
Yeah, horizontal's horizontal. If it's not horizontal, then we say it's
then
not
it's not
horizontal.
horizontal.
But it is horizontal.
It has an elevation change. What do you want to call that?
Okay.
I don't know that roughly
pedantic
horizontal
fuck about it. What do you want to call it? There's a 4 foot elevation
the
change.
accuracy of that laser beam.
Did you have an elevation change and be horizontal at the same time?
Not that I know of.
So there you go, Blue. There's L.I.G.O for you. It can't work, bro, if it's not perfectly
Can work, bro.
aligned.
All the face of the mirror has to be is perpendicular to the center line of the tube.
Blue, if one of those mirrors, I think there's like, I don't know, 8, 10 of them or whatever, I forget how many. If one of them is off by 1 proton, the thing doesn't work, Blue.
Know that.
We're not talking about Home Depot plumb bobs here.
Montreal, do you believe or not that you could make the mirror perpendicular to the center line of the tube? Yes or no?
If it's perfectly straight and level, yes.
Why does it have to be level?
It has to.
They use the coincidence bevel level to align them.
Why would it have to be level?
In order for the machine to work, Blue.
No, no, they didn't use a coincidence bubble level to Jesus. That's Bev.
First of all, do you know how they align the mirrors, Blue?
That was which time? The first time or the second time or the third time?
The second time when they regutted it and put in the Perot cavities. Do a research on those. They're fascinating, by the way. The second time, Blue.
I'll do that. Thank you.
So do you know how they align the mirrors, Blue?
Oh, I do. Montreal, why don't you tell us?
Well, it was a task and a half. They tried. They couldn't find any mechanism. They were trying different things. They just couldn't do it. There's nothing accurate enough. So you know what they did? This ingenious scientist came up with an idea. This woman, very well spoken, very educated. She came up with the idea, wait a minute, we have the most precise thing here, the lasers. So they used the lasers themselves, the laser light, to align the mirrors through fancy computers and software and stuff like that. Now it had to be down to 1/10,000th of a proton accurate. Every single mirror, Blue.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, if you want to disagree, I heard it from the scientist herself that came up with the alignment system. So you can say no, all you want, Blue.
Understand what you heard, Montreal. LIGO is trying to detect a change in the length of equivalent of 1/10,000th the diameter of a proton. That's not how accurate the mirrors are.
They have to, because that's what they have to detect. Yeah. Have a look. Check it out.
No, why don't you check it? Why don't you pull it up and show it to us right now? Go.
Are you denying the fact that they used the laser light to align the mirrors before? You said you had no clue how it was done. Are you denying the fact?
How it should have been done.
Oh, really? Now that I told you, you're saying exactly how it should have been done. Got you, Blue.
Oh, yeah. I'm still waiting on you to tell me what the passive system is. Still haven't told me.
What the passive system is?
Yeah,
you mean after I explained you the two types of systems last time, which you had no clue about, Blue? Is that what you're talking about? The active and the passive systems?
You're the one that doesn't have a clue about this.
Don't start up with me now, Blue.
How does the passive system work?
How does it work? What do you mean, how does it work? I explained that to you.
We'll do it again.
L.I.G.O has a seven-point system. It sits on a bed. It has 4 motors. I'm going by memory now. It has 4 motors on each side. It sits on a floating bed. There's a pendulum seismic detection system that detects the slightest movement of the Earth. That's the 4 part there. And the other part is on the 3-part suspension system where the mirrors sit. And each one of them is designed to dampen the vibration more and more. That's what I remember.
Okay, you've described the active system. Now tell me about the passive system.
That is the passive system. The 3-point mirror. assembly.
Are you talking about the motors and all that? That's the active system.
You have no clue what I'm talking about, right, Blue? Where are the motors of the active system, Blue?
You apparently don't know what the
Where
passive
are the
system
motors
is.
of the active system, Blue?
Very much, Montreal.
Where are the?
Confirming
You're trying to
once
school
again
me. I'm gonna
that
punk you now. Where are the motors
you
of
don't know
the
how
mirror
the
of the?
passive system. You don't even know
Where
what it
are the
means.
mirrored? Where are the motors
what
of
does
the
passive
active
mean?
system, Blue?
What does passive mean, SC? Well, I showed it to you in the last
Yeah.
video I made. That's the passive system.
You have no clue. You had no clue before. You have no clue now. And I'm showing it to everybody.
Tell me what the passive system is. How does it work?
I explained it to you, and I asked you a question because you were getting smart with me. Now it's your turn. Where are the active motors located, Blue?
Montreal, I'll answer your question when you answer mine.
I did. Now it's your turn. You see what's going on here, everybody?
You have not. You have not answered it, Montreal.
I sure as hell did.
Can you even define what passive means?
Can you tell me where the 4 motors of the active system are, Blue? You don't know shit, do you, man? You don't know shit.
As I recall,
you didn't know shit about the concrete. Now you don't know shit about the interior.
Montreal. What does passive mean?
Don't pick a fight with me, Blue.
I'm not. What does passive mean?
Where are the 4 motors of the active system of LIGO, Blue?
For God's sakes, Montreal.
Say you don't know. Say you don't know. Say you don't know, Blue. No, be a man. Say I don't know.
Oh, you want me to show you a picture of them? I can do that.
You had enough time to Google them, did you, Blue? Yeah.
You've had more than enough time to Google one word, passive.
I'm sitting on my couch comfortably and not giving a damn, Blue.
Well, you don't know the word, what the word means. You know what it is.
I'm eating ice cream cake.
Come on now, Montreal. Tell us what passive means.
Where are the motors in the active system, Blue? Where are they located? How does that system work, Blue? Now, before you Google it. Now, tell me now. Come on. Or you're a liar, Blue.
Where you can see the motors up on top of that damn thing. Hang on a second.
You see, he doesn't know. Everybody has to look it up. You see?
No, I need
he
a
tried
picture
to school me. Now I'm schooling him in his own server, and I'm freaking enjoying it.
How can you know so many trivial details about this, Montreal, and not know what the damn thing does?
Isn't it funny how I know this shit and he doesn't?
No, it's funny how you know all these little trivial details, but nothing about how it works.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you looked into all some trivial details and forget how the damn thing works, what it's doing.
Hey, I'm doing this from memory. Months ago, I looked into it.
Well, what the fuck? Why do you look into the freaking details of the mirror mount in LIGO and then ignore what the fact it does?
What is? Oh, you want to start now? What does it do? Tell us. What's this now, guys? What's this embarrassment? What does it do? Paige Nassashil, explain us what LIGO does, please. Go ahead.
Gravity waves.
How does it do it?
Infinitometry.
How? Explain us how the system works.
Oh, please. You've got this memorized. Tell me.
You see, ladies and gentlemen?
That's what he is doing. Paid Nasty, you keep jumping in.
Well, no, the whole thing is that why? I mean, so you know all this trivia about it, yet you reject the output, right? I imagine you say that this whole thing is fake, right? That it doesn't detect gravity waves.
Is this what you came in to do?
Is this true? Is this true, SE? Does it detect gravity waves?
That's what it was designed for.
Does it?
You're asking me if I believe if it detects
No, I'm not asking you whether you believe.
not?
I'm asking you what the output from the experiment has been. Have they detected gravity waves?
Yes, they have.
Thank you. So, what's your problem?
I don't have a problem. What's your problem?
Talking about the
why
setup
are you
of it.
arguing about this whole thing like it's fake or something?
No, I'm having a conversation with Blue, and Blue right now is researching because he's embarrassed and you're playing a tag team with him.
I'm not playing tag team.
He's trying to ask me questions, and he didn't know
Blue's
what the active
researching.
system was after I explained him the whole thing.
You know, like I
You haven't
said,
explained
I don't
anything,
think this
Montreal.
guy understands that we're talking
the
about
trivia of this
the
machine
arms of
is
LIGO.
interesting.
That's what he
I've been
doesn't
schooling your
understand.
dumbass on this for
The
months.
trivia of this machine is interesting, but it doesn't let go of the fact that this is an amazing machine, the two of them, that detect gravity waves. This pretty much cinches Einstein's predictions.
Notice how we had to come in, huh?
I didn't have to come in. I'll leave if you want me to. I'll let you and a Blue argue.
on, then.
I'm just coming. I come in like every 10 minutes and just
Later.
listen in on this shit show.
You go ahead. I've had 10 of them on me. Go ahead, Shill.
I know. You've been doing well, Blue. I'm surprised. I would have lost it a long time ago.
Is it too much for you, Blue?
I have to go.
There's not 10 people.
No, let me tell you. Let me tell you something, Bill. I haven't even
It
broken
can
a
seem
sweat.
like a lot, though, right?
All you guys can do is swing and miss.
Mm-hmm.
Why you read about all the detail? That sums up that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who cares about the details? Yeah.
Is it a bit much for you?
Yeah, it's
Blue?
dropping 4 foot one end, isn't it?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Doesn't understand why it's ridiculous.
Come on, guys.
I can't believe you don't know the meaning of the word passive. Your age and not even know what that means.
Blue, that's sad if that's where you have to go.
Where is it?
Semantics, definitions
How
of
is it?
words. Is that you're looking after
No, all I
for the
wanted to do is
scientific
explain-
definition of it,
What,
or just
what
like
I really
the
wanted to do
definition
is
of
explain
passive?
what the passive mode of control is. Those mirrors.
Down to words.
Quite simple.
So now you're saying mode of control before you said what is a passive system, which I explained to you. The three system pendulum system, pendular at L.I.G.O.
Well done, Essie. I like that.
That's what you said. Started talking about motors.
Yeah, you don't even know where the motors are, Blue. Still, after all this research, after all this time, after all these months, bro, you still don't know, man.
What do they look like, Montreal? What does the motor look like?
I'm asking you, man. You came in to punk me, to school me that I don't know my shit. And I asked you a question that you don't know, Blue.
No, you don't. Montreal, you really don't have any idea what you're talking about. The motors you're talking about aren't really motors.
The active motors are not really motors? Okay, Blue, what are they? Tell me, what are they?
They call them that.
And where are they located? Blue, this is embarrassing, bro. I mean, I wasn't going to go this route and this mean with you, but you forced my hand, bro.
You're not going to let me answer that.
Go ahead.
Every time I start, you talk over me, so fuck it.
I'll shut up.
I'll shut you up.
Blue, you asked for it, man.
I didn't ask for anything, Montreal. You can't define what the passive system actually is or how it works.
I just explained it to you like a minute ago, Blue.
Well, you just babbled out something about the mirrors. Okay, yeah, we know that there are pendulums there. Thank you very much. What is that doing? How does that work?
I explained to you, it's the third part of the 7 dampening system to dampen the noise of the mirrors. That's how they explain it. That's another term you might want to learn, noise. And that's what it is. It's a passive system. It's free-hanging, pendular, 3-step dampening noise for the mirrors. That's how they explain it. That's how the scientist herself explained it, Lou.
Just out of interest, Montreal, what
I
is
have
your
no
first
idea,
language?
dude. Totally clueless, aren't you? Okay, whatever.
That's your answer, Blue?
Yeah, my answer is you have no idea what you're talking about.
All right. This is your server.
All you got to do is say the word inertia. That's all you had to do. But you're not bright enough to come up with that. Well, I showed it to you in the video I did on your bullshit to do with Cavendish. I showed you the guy showing you how it worked.
You mean the one where you had ropes tied to the bottom mirror, Blue? That one?
No, I'm talking about the video I just did with the L.I.G.O guy that shows you how that passive system works. How the pendulum will stand still,
He's
even though
talking
the
about
thing
his
supporting it is
Cavendish.
moving.
He's talking about his Cavendish, remember?
Yeah, the Cavendish video I did on you. I used
the
the L.I.G.O
Cavendish.
guy in that video. You're too dumb to even watch it and understand what you were saying.
Blue, you want to dig more of a hole?
That was the passive system. I showed it to you, and he talks about it. He explains exactly what happens and how inertia does that. And you can't even come up with that simple word. You don't know what passive means. You don't know what inertia is. But you're going to talk to me about specifically where the fucking motors are in the active system. Yeah, get the fuck out.
Yeah, because you didn't know where they were, Blue. I know what passive is. I know what inertia is. I know what the mirrors are.
Oh,
I know what they're called. I know the seven system, which you don't know.
Now that I've schooled you on it,
It looks like you're getting attacked by the sea lion, a whole pod of sea
like it,
lions.
doesn't it?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, what's happening?
Wow.
You know what, Blue?
You
The people
that?
listening.
Blue, come on.
What do you mean, come on? Come on what?
Oh, like you didn't hear that? Nah. Don't mind.
I'm starting to think this is actually a script, but it's recording just words. And every so often it records too much pause before or after one, which is why all the breaks are weird and the grammar's off, because it doesn't actually know what it's saying. It's just playing back words that it has recorded at some point during earlier conversations.
What do you know about L.I.G.O, genius?
I know that its arms are horizontal at the end where the laser goes in, but not at the end where the hanging mirror reflects it back. Because the Earth's curved.
Oh, man, this is too good.
Where's hanging from anyway, Montreal?
Sorry, Blue, I was adjusting in my chair. I didn't hear you.
What are the mirrors hanging from?
What are they hanging from?
Support.
It's a support frame. I don't know exactly what it is. I'm not pretending I'm an expert here. It's hung. It's.
You know all about the motors? Don't know
When did I say I was an expert? I know more than you. That's for fucking sure.
What's holding the mirrors up?
I know more than you.
What are the what holds the mirrors up then?
Where are the mirrors? Where are the motors, Blue?
Pendulums.
I told you, you ain't gonna school me, man. I'm gonna school you all day long. Where are the mirrors, Blue?
On the upper.
Where are the motors, Blue? What do the motors do?
They're behind the mirrors.
The motors are behind the mirrors, yeah.
Blue.
Oh man, I can't wait till we play this back.
Blue.
Can't wait till we play this back,
I thought
man.
that's why he was trying to think you were stupid, SE, but I didn't honestly think he thought the motors were in the fucking mirrors.
Can you believe that?
Is that why he was getting mixed up with the passive system?
The mirrors put
That's after I explained it to him, Bev, yeah.
I know.
You ever read about them?
Explained it to you, you moron, where they are. I explained it to you.
I don't think
you
he
not
heard
explained
it.
anything.
Oh, well, Montreal can't read.
When you play this back, you're gonna see I explained you where they are. Everything. You're gonna this is bad, Blue.
You can read it. It's right. I mean, somebody posted it. All you got to do is read the damn thing, Montreal.
We've been over all of this, Blue. Like we
upper two
we
masses
really
are
have.
controlled by simple motors made of permanent magnets and electric coils that push on the masses.
I was talking about
like
the
voice
active,
coils.
the active
this
system.
This is the active system.
Oh God, Lou. This is embarrassing for you, bro.
This is the active system, Montreal. We've got there's a lot of shit involved in this thing.
I don't know what else to tell you, man. If you don't know the difference between the active and the passive system in LIGO,
It's not passive.
It's a joke, Blue.
You don't know what the passive is, Montreal. Obviously. The upper two masses are controlled by simple motors, Montreal. They work like loudspeakers. There's a coil that produces a magnetic field. It repels or attracts the magnets that push and turn on the masses. Very gently.
Very, very gently. That is considered the passive system, Blue.
No, that's not passive.
There's an active system, Blue.
That is not the passive system, Montreal.
Yes, it is. The mirror assembly is considered the passive system, Blue.
Confusing gentle with passive. That's great.
The pendular system of the mirrors are considered the passive part. Now, there's an active part. Now, I'm really shocked that none of you geniuses in here have any idea what that is. It's mind-boggling.
Passive and gentle.
Yeah, it's just
resorting
generally
to comedy hour.
You gotta be kidding me.
I can't wait till you find out what the active system is. And I hope we remember this conversation.
I remember the part of it where you said the active system was the quad.
Yeah.
Was the what?
You said it was a 7-part damping system, the active system was the quad part, and that then the pendular, which you insist on pronouncing as pendular very clearly.
Exactly, remember that word.
You said that the active part was the quad part, and the pendular system was the other 3 parts.
Exactly. That's exactly what I said, and that's exactly what it is. Unless the scientists that I heard it straight from their mouth were lying to me.
I just think you don't understand what you heard, Montreal.
Okay.
Caltech.edu disagrees with you.
Yeah.
So the scientists that made the system that I heard them saying it themselves, they're wrong. I told you there's a 10-part video on YouTube. Anybody here listening here, I'm not an educated person. I don't have special knowledge here. I'm not a physicist, but anybody here could watch what I watched and you'll see exactly what I'm telling you. The scientists themselves that work there say it. Now, unless I remembered something wrong, I mean, it's possible, but I'm pretty sure I got it right.
Oh yeah, it's possible you remembered something wrong.
Yeah, it's damn likely if you want my opinion.
Here's two guys that have no clue what the active dampening system is. It's special, man. This is beautiful.
Is that LIGO's mirrors, aka test masses, must be so well shielded from vibration that the random motion of the atoms within the mirrors and their housings can be detected. To achieve this level of shielding, each of LIGO's 40-kilogram test masses is suspended within a 360-kilogram quadruple pendulum system, or quad. This system of 4 pendulums significantly reduces motion at the level of the test masses where it really counts. Suspensions make use of both passive and active vibration isolation components. 2 chains of suspended masses hang back to back in each suspension system. These are called the main chain and the reaction chain. Each chain contains 4 masses. In the main chain, the top 2 masses are made of steel and the bottom 2 are made of pure fused silica. In the reaction chain, the upper cylinder is made of metal. The lowermost cylinder in the main chain is the test mass. This hunk of glass is suspended by glass threads. These threads do not expand or contract in response to temperature variations, thus they isolate the mirrors from such thermal noise.
Beautiful. You picked out a thing and you're reading it.
Well read.
For the first
LIGO's
time,
final
I bet.
parameters, i.e. the distance
For
between the
the
test masses at
first
the ends of each
time, I
arm,
bet. You're an
must
expert
not
now,
vary
right?
by more than a fraction of a picometer. To hold the masses steady and in place, we need to push on them extremely carefully. This is the Rolls reaction
Just do
curve.
copy paste.
Sorry.
Two
Sorry, could
masses
you back up and read it?
controlled by
Yeah.
simple motors made of permanent magnets and electrical coils that push on the masses. These vice coils work like audio loudspeakers, with the coil producing a magnetic field which attracts or repels the magnets, which in turn
It
gently move
sounds
masses to
awful,
generate
mate. Like,
vibration.
can I at least
Very.
read it myself?
On the test masses
Very,
themselves,
very
we
bad.
use
Very
more dense
desperate.
electrostatic
Very
forces,
desperate.
like those that
You
attract
sound like a
200
desperate
pressure to
little
a wall
beggar.
ahead on a dry day.
Dang it.
Goal is to keep the masses perfectly still without physically touching them. Seismic isolation, active vibration isolation.
Come on, how many fucking
LIGO's
pages
passive
have you got to
isolation
read?
systems are its last line of defense against unwanted vibrations, aka noise. The first line of defense against vibration is LIGO's active damping system.
Dude,
LIGO's quad
is
suspensions
this how
are
you
themselves
usually
mounted
work?
below active vibration seismic isolation systems, giving them the quietest possible environment for operation.
You're learning
In
what
other
they
words,
are. You fucking
active system
asshole.
isn't
Beautiful schooling.
the
Now
quad
you're learning.
part, because the quad part is mounted below the active part. You muppet.
Can you give us where you read that out
Now
from?
you've already read further than
The
Montreal
active
has.
system is you fucking muppet. For the first time, you fucking muppet. I'm loving this.
You just
Keep
got
reading,
your ass handed
asshole.
to you, Montreal.
You fucking bunch
Yeah,
of fucking losers. Fuck.
You just got your
You
ass
didn't
handed
know
to you.
fuck all.
Again,
And you
you're too
got your fucking
dumb to
asses
realize it.
handed to you by
When are
SC
you gonna learn not to
Montreal.
take me
You
on,
fucking
Montreal?
bunch of losers. Yeah.
Dance
That's what
begin.
just happened
Dance,
here.
pigeon, dance.
Yeah, you learned what the active is now. Fuckhead. Yeah, that's right. Squirm for me, bitches.
It's enough, Montreal.
Yeah, well, you guys are fucking pissing me off. You knew nothing until this fuckface
Bullshit.
had to read it out for you.
Just read it out.
Fuck
Come
off.
on.
Exactly what I told you.
Didn't go against anything that SE had said. SE had already told you that. Some
SE
guy
never told
reads
me
something
that.
out and you think that's a win?
The reason I got
never told me
Montreal
anything.
to reiterate that he had said that the active was the quad was that I knew
No,
full
he
well
said
what
there
I
was a
about to read to
separate
him.
motor system.
The active,
Did
the
you
quad
not
part-
know
You
about the
lying
other
son of a
motor
bitch.
system?
You lying fucking son of a bitch.
Dude,
He doesn't know what Montreal doesn't know what the damn motor system is.
there's another
Reason
one,
I
right?
know
It's
Montreal
not
what
that
motor
one that
is.
he was talking
Quad part was the
about.
active
Not
part,
on mirrors,
I
you
knew he was
fucking
wrong,
monks.
because I
What
read
do
that
they
article
use?
months
Get it.
ago.
What's the motor look like on the bottom ones?
Yeah, you still don't know that, even after
does
your
it look
boy
like,
just read it
Montreal?
out. This is
What does it look
really
like?
bad for you guys, man. You guys are showing your true colors, man. This is sad. Sad day for you, Blue and Dog.
You know how electrostatics work, Montreal? 'Cause that's what they use.
You just found out the difference between the mirrors and the active system, and you still don't realize your fault. You still don't realize where the motors are.
Montreal, you have learned today what the word passive means. You have learned that
Oh
the
my
inertia
God.
is the actual passive system. It's the inertia of that whole thing.
Blue,
That's
this
the
is a
passive
sad day
system.
for you, my friend. Really, really sad.
No, you're the one looking like an idiot here, Montreal. I'm loving it. Keep talking.
You had no clue what the active system was of a 7-part, the most important part of the whole fucking system. You had no clue what it was. And I loved it, every minute of it, Blue. And I'm still loving it because you still don't know what it is. What is it, Blue? Tell me, what is the 4-part active system? Listen, everybody, how I'm going to school this guy. Go ahead, Blue.
Montreal.
Tell me, go ahead.
Montreal. I've had enough of you.
That's right.
Enough of your insults. You've been shown to know absolutely nothing about this.
You see, no answer at home. Go ahead, Blue. What is the
Listen,
4-part active system?
calling you
LIGO. Go
I'm
ahead.
not about to go there.
Yeah, that's right.
Montreal.
That's right. Remember, don't pick a fight with me, Blue. Especially on LIGO. Let this be a lesson to you. And to you, Dog.
This is so
He's
crazy.
the greatest pigeon
It happens
dancer. I think you learned the pigeon dance from Sesame Street from Bert.
That's another one. What do you know, clown, about LIGO? Go ahead, OELM.
This
You
happens every
troll,
time.
scumbag.
Never
Go ahead.
fails.
What do you know about it?
Montreal's laying on his
OELM.
back in the middle of the parking lot, blood coming out of every orifice, yelling, "Have you had enough yet?"
Yeah. Go ahead,
Nice
OELM.
job,
What do you
Montreal.
know about LIGO? Go ahead.
I never said I did.
So shut up and sit down. We're talking about LIGO.
I schooled you all
But you
over
thought you'd
the
put your
place
nose in,
on
right?
the Bolivian salt flats, and you lied about that, and I caught you.
The Bolivian salt flats? We're talking about LIGO, and you came in to talk about the Bolivian salt flats?
I just
Wow,
turned on. I
man.
was actually came in to talk to Carl and say hi to him, and I found him, and here he is, and here is Troll Fest.
This is a schooling fest. First by
let's ride
Mobius,
skateboard
and then by
downstairs.
me.
Okay, skateboard boy, aren't you proud of yourself? You keep doing the pigeon dance, because I don't even care about LIGO. And what's the point anyway, right?
Yeah.
Do you have one?
Yeah.
That's right.
I
What's the
know more
point?
about it than you. I know more about it than you. What's the point anyway? Go.
No, I was keeping my cool until Blue started calling me a liar and I don't know shit. Then, well, shit got ugly.
Well, I
Well,
just
you
called
are
you
a liar, and you don't know shit, Montreal.
Yeah.
See, there it is.
That. I caught you in a lie on the Bolivian salt flats. And so I'm not surprised to come in here you and see, stick to your day job.
This was a good day, man. This was a good day.
Well, you're going to hear it again.
Yeah, go make your clown video. No problem.
Well, yeah, I will.
Good day. He's been able to afford a couch. He's told us he's sitting on it, 3 or 4 times now?
Just make sure you include that none of you had a clue about the 7-stage dampening system. The most important thing about the LIGO mirrors, you had no clue. And make sure you include the part where Mobius schooled you and Rakia schooled you on the exterior. The cement, how that works, that you got schooled on the exterior and I schooled you on the interior. Make sure you include that, Blue.
I will, believe me. Every word of it.
Get some good content out of this, eh, Blue?
Especially the part where he told us twice that the quad was the active part.
Right.
No, he was
I
talking
never
about
said
the
that, you lying
other
piece of shit.
motors.
You lying
They're
piece
just
of
doing
shit.
it to wind you up, Blue.
Certainly did.
SE, they know what they're doing, right?
Certainly did.
So it's so obvious that they've
Oh yeah,
lost
they're
this one.
squirming. Yeah.
Just have to make
They
up
know
a
I
different
schooled them.
narrative.
They have to make a lie about what I said. It's
After all
beautiful.
of this, and after all this expertise you guys profess to have, you didn't even know there was an elevation difference.
Make sure you get that in too.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. Make a video about that one, please, Blue.
The one thing I do know about LIGO is that it proves the Earth's a sphere. And it
It
proves
does.
gravity. Boom.
Yep.
The best part was when his boy had to go.
Waves. Well, gravity's not a force. How can it do that?
The best part is when his boy Dog had to go Google it and had to read what it was. And even after he read it, Blue still didn't know what the active system was. It's amazing.
But everybody except you knew perfectly well that the active system wasn't the quad part.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that, doggy boy. I have a little bone for you. You like doggy treats? Ruff ruff.
Hey, if you see a boy, slap a boy.
Listen, clown, you had no clue about anything. If I was you, I'd shut my mouth.
If I were you, use a proper conjugation.
Yep, a lesson in LIGO. I think our job is done here.
Was it LIGO that confirmed that gravity moves at the speed of light?
Do you know what LIGO detected, supposedly? Do you have any clue, dog?
Gravity waves from black holes merging. But was it LIGO that actually confirmed that gravity moves at the speed of light?
Oh, I have no clue about that.
You don't surprise me.
Do tell. What? Do you have any knowledge of
He
this?
said confirmed.
Sorry, Mobius, go ahead. What did you say?
Oh, I was just laughing. He said confirmed.
Yeah. They think they know shit. They think they know the speed of light. Yeah. And that gravity waves travel at the speed of light. They think they know that too. Because somebody told them, right? Yeah.
Hey, I got some new info on LIGO.
Good stuff, bro. What you got?
Yeah, there was a different guy that answered the phone this time in the control room. So it's if you dial the phone number for LIGO Louisiana and you press number 3, that gets you the control room. But he said that it's not a separate arm, that third arm. It's the arm in addition to the y-axis arm that is going to help them detect gravitational waves at a further distance. That's what he told me. And that's am I still here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's different than what the first guy told me.
New script.
Huh?
Well, I heard the scientists talk about that.
He said it's in the Y. It's not an extension or an addition, like a separate tube going off in a different direction. It's inside the tube that's going the Y tube is what he called it. I think that's the east-west tube.
Yeah.
If I remember right, but he said it's inside that existing tube.
Wow.
What? I heard it was
Yeah.
a separate thing.
I did too. The guy told me before that it was.
Yeah, it was a separate construction.
Yeah, it's definitely they're under construction now. He said the other guy said it was going to be 2 years. This guy said they got another like 8 months.
Well,
And
I suppose they've been stopped since the COVID, so they could have started it, right? It could be
no,
that
I think
long,
the construction started. It's just they're shut down to the public. Like there's no Saturday Science Day and no tours.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it could have been 2 years that the project was, and 8 months left. I mean,
Man, that might have been what the guy was saying
Yeah.
before, but I asked him how long they were going to be down, and I was implying from this point forward, and he said 2 years. Maybe that was the total time down.
Yeah.
But that doesn't add up either because this guy said that they ran a test less than 8 months ago.
Wow.
And they detected waves. Yeah, and I said, well, how long have you been there? And he said
shut
6
down
years.
for COVID.
Well, I'm just telling you what he said. He said he's been there 6 years, and that they've detected multiple gravitational waves, like more than he can count, and that there's a site in Washington, and then he was talking about how astronomers help them and blah blah blah. But he said they've ran like multiple tests and detected many gravitational waves.
Wow.
And he was talking about how it's like a speaker. Like he's talking about, he said when two huge things like bigger than the size of the sun collide, they create a pressure wave, and that's what they're detecting. He said it's like when you sit next to a bass speaker, and you feel that percussion. That boom, boom, you feel the air. And then he was saying, someone closer is going to feel it more than someone further away. And that's how they detect the distance and blah, blah, blah. Well, I was asking him, what if the speaker is smaller or bigger? How would you know how far away it is? And I don't know. He didn't have very many good answers to that, but that's what he said.
Nice.
Said large things bigger than the sun colliding at distances we can't see. We can only detect the pressure difference coming into Livingston, Louisiana at L.I.G.O.
And that's all it could be, right? Absolutely.
Yeah, pressure. Yeah. And he said something about how did he put it? Magnetic waves. He said something about that, and I asked him how do you tell the difference between a magnetic wave and a pressure wave caused by a collision of two large objects far away, and he said, well, he said deduction, but then he went through a long spill about how they decipher, and I forget what he said, honestly. They said they can decipher between magnetic waves and pressure waves caused by large objects colliding. So yeah, third time speaking to someone in control room, two different people. This guy didn't sound as sure of himself as the other guy.
Did he at some point say, "Let me break it down into crayons for you"? Because it sounds like he was trying to.
Jose.
I don't know what you're saying. No, he was cool. I mean, we're neighbors. He lives
He's
in
trying
my
to make
community.
fun of you.
Mm-hmm.
That he wasn't
Yeah, I know,
simple enough
That's
for
all
you.
That's all they had.
Yep,
Yeah, no,
that's all you got.
A fellow Cajun Louisianan wouldn't do that here. We're neighbors. We live in the same. We both live in Livingston Parish. Yeah, but he's been working there 6 years. Sounded like a real cool dude. Down to earth, so to speak.
So that's news to me that they've detected and it's been running.
Well, it's not running now. They're shut down for construction. But he said they had been running and they've done multiple detections, which is different than what the last guy told me.
Yeah.
And different than what we had heard. I'd heard they've only done 2 runs, maybe.
Yeah, and it's been shut
in
down
like 8 years
since COVID, right? They have to power it back up. It takes them ages to run it and get the vacuums all sorted.
Yeah. Oh, I can go into that. Oh, Blue, do you have any idea what they got to do? Or how about you, Dog? You have any idea what they got to do to get that thing running? Let's say it's shut down now. There's pressure inside and this and that. You guys have any idea what they got to do to get the tubes functional?
Well, they'd have to pump the air out of the tubes if there was any. They'd have to run the lasers long enough to get the charge inside the tubes up, which I have no idea how long that takes. And they'd have to make sure everything was still aligned and hadn't been shaken out of place or rubbed against stuff and electrically charged by an earthquake or something that might have happened while it was shut down. They'd have to basically run a calibration test on it.
Earthquake in Louisiana. We are on a fault line. But why they would build a thing on a fault line, I don't know. It's strange. Who knows? He didn't seem to know that the y-axis was sloping 4 feet. And
that might not have been the one that's sloping, though. Like,
well, I asked him which arm sloped 4 feet. Like, one was horizontal, one was sloping 4 feet. And he didn't know anything about that. Of course, I just learned it today. I didn't realize it did that either. 4 feet, that's a lot.
Would that be the one that the balls roll down that Zanuck was talking about?
Towards the middle.
That's another one.
Oh, shit, that wouldn't be towards the middle. That'd be right to the fucking end.
That would be towards the end, whichever way it's sloping, right?
Yeah.
The other one was towards the middle. They had the 2 ends up and the center 1 foot down. That was Blue. Blue was touting that idea as well.
Yeah, and George did that with the when he put a bubble level on it and moved it to one end, like it seemed to tilt. The bubble went to the outside when he moved it. which would indicate like a sort of run down towards the middle. Yeah, that's not what Blue was saying though.
I didn't know they had a LIGO in Washington. Did y'all?
I think they have a small. I think they have a small one arm. I'm not exactly sure. I know they have one in Germany, a one arm one.
No, there isn't. There is another one because they have to do the two, but
So
they
the
were
guy who
saying that
knows
they were
everything
two
about
close together.
I knew there was another one, but I
Yeah.
didn't think it was
But
in the
not in
United
Washington.
States. I thought it was in another continent. Like
No, they were building another one in India, supposedly. I don't think it's actually done yet, but yeah, I think they were both in America.
They're both in America. Yeah.
Okay,
But I think there's
So
a
the
third
guy
one.
who knows everything about LIGO didn't know there were two facilities because you need two facilities to detect gravity waves their direction.
He didn't say he knows everything. Who said he knew everything?
You say you knew.
Yeah.
You always make fun of people who don't know all of your little trivia, and you didn't know one of the big facts about this thing.
There's
we
two
knew
of
there
them,
was
bro.
two.
One in a swamp and one in a desert. I just posted pictures before. Scroll up, you idiot. What are you
I'm the
talking
one who
about?
You said you didn't know that
I
until
knew there was
today.
two.
You said you didn't know
No,
there was
I
two.
said that. I knew there was two, but I didn't know it was in Washington. You idiot.
Yeah, that's what I got out of it, Ricky.
And I know that they say they triangulate with just two to get the position of the collision, which
And
is
they
funny.
have one in Germany as well, one arm. And they're building one in India. Paid.
I know there's a couple. There's others. They're not as big. There's one in Italy too, I believe.
So anyway, the new third tube at LIGO in Livingston is not a separate tube you're going to be able to see pointing in a different direction or a separate unit. It's inside the Y tube as another tube inside, and it's going to help them detect further out, further distances. That's what he told me.
Yeah, Hanford, Washington.
Yeah, that's it.
Well chosen, because it's a nuclear waste dump.
Why'd they choose Livingston, Louisiana? Do you know?
It's out in the middle of nowhere.
No, it's not. It's in a town of Livingston.
Oh, they said they picked it because it was in the middle of nowhere, far, away from people, as far as they can get.
It's right near an interstate.
I don't know. I'm just telling you what they said. Probably because of the senator from Louisiana managed to weasel it for his state.
Where did they say that?
Oh, I was on the LIGO site.
Caltech. Way to go, Caltech. I mean, you can't get much further away from California than Livingston, Louisiana. It's totally different. But
Well, a lot
whatever.
of these places, a lot of these facilities are out in the middle of nowhere because some congressman or senator manages to snag it.
He's got that pool at Caltech, builds it in his backyard on his back 40
not
and
that guy. The senator
Livingston,
from
Louisiana.
Who's the senator from Louisiana? There you go.
Yeah. There's a dump nearby too. Maybe that's why. Maybe when they're done spending all our money on this bullshit, they'll just push it over into the dump. Fill it in.
Perhaps they found somewhere it was pretty level to start off with, so they could save off moving dirt.
Yeah, they want to spend that extra $40,000 on moving dirt.
Hey, speaking of money and bullshit, the first LIGO they had was running, I don't know how many years, 10 years plus. They didn't find nothing.
Nope.
So they spent billions of dollars and they restructured everything. They put the Perot cavities in, all that bullshit, right?
Yep.
Now imagine this.
Then it worked.
The first day it went active, guess what? They detected gravity waves.
Detection City.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this guy wasn't there then. He was only been there 6 years.
Yep, the first one didn't work, so they learned from it and rebuilt it, and then it worked. That's how science works.
It's all a pile of crock.
That is definitely how science works.
That's how science works.
Just secure the funding until you get it. The bullshit. Right. Get your story straight. What's the movie that from? Basic. Y'all seen Basic?
Well, I talked about vibration damping earlier, and now we're complaining about California tech not putting it in California. California's kind of known for vibrating.
No, they put it in Hanford, Washington, so they needed to pick somewhere far away.
You mean the part where you didn't know nothing, dog, until you went and you read out verbatim on our... On Google, that part? Yeah, we remember that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
It
not sure
always amuses
Washington
me
was
that
the
you guys
obvious choice.
know. It amazes me that you have the trivia you guys know about this machine and reject its conclusions. That always cracks
I think
me.
it's funny it's in Livingston, Louisiana. And if you knew anything about Livingston, you would, I mean, you hear people on here talking how bad Louisiana is. Well, Livingston Parish is like, how should I say this?
Backwards?
Yeah. As backwards, white, podunk, trailer trash as you get. Sorry, Livingston. I mean, I live there. I love it. I fit right in. I love those trailers. I think I bought the last 30 acres in the city limits of Denham, which is in Livingston Parish. And you know what the survey did when he came and put the flood elevation, Peyton Asher, since y'all put the surveyors and things in such high regard? It cost me about $1 million. That's about it.
Nice.
He put the flood stage at about 6 feet lower than what it actually is, and so the estimated value was about $1 million more. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, just a little small mistake by a surveyor.
The flood mitigation stuff?
Yeah, they said everything by flood elevation. So your property value is based on that, right? What flood zone you're in.
So it's less. It's worth less if you're lower.
Well, yeah, because it means you're going to flood more.
Oh. You have to pay more for insurance and stuff too, I suppose.
Yeah.
So oil
Well,
and things were pigeon dancing, huh? You clown. You have no clue what we're talking about. How do you know we're pigeon dancing, you idiot?
What's pigeon dancing?
Ask him.
Nah.
He obviously thinks we've won.
Not them, just you.
You know.
Just you.
A guy that doesn't know anything.
I'm diagnosing you with a severe case of premature celebration.
What? Nobody's celebrating
Nobody won or lost
anyway.
here. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I lost, actually. Blue handed me my ass with that I'm lying that I've never called Livingston L.I.G.O.
Oh, have you?
He called me out, so to speak. I have them on my speed dial if y'all need the number, and it's number 3 that you push. Now, I didn't remember it was number 3. Number 1 is if you need information on location. Number 2 is scheduling for tours, and number 3 is the control room.
You never actually called.
I'm only remembering that that's the order because I called him today again. But
oh shit! I've driven by this thing. I never knew it. I drove right by the thing. I never knew it.
Man, what is wrong with you guys? Why don't you, when somebody gives you a bit of information, why don't you just? What is wrong with you guys?
Because
yeah, the information that I gave him was wrong. Actually, yeah, it was wrong. The guy that told me that it was a separate arm, nothing to do with the other two, and was going to have a separate vacuum chamber, which I think it does, but it's still inside the Y arm, is what this guy's telling me. I spouted that information as true, right? Because this is someone at L.I.G.O telling me, but it ended up being not true.
And what did you do when you found out that it wasn't true?
I told y'all what this guy said. I don't know which one is true. I haven't been there.
Exactly. A sign of an honest man.
But 2 different people in the L.I.G.O control room told me 2 different things. That's kind of strange.
Well, again, the L.I.G.O control guys are just, I mean, especially if the thing's not running, they're probably not the world's, that they didn't design the place. They don't know a lot about it. They work there. Like Homer Simpson at the nuclear power plant,
But did you hear that as well then? Because, I mean, I've heard him when he said that. He said, I've been told. I phoned this guy up and this guy said, right? It's not, Racky is not saying it.
Yeah, I'm just repeating what they told me.
Yeah,
I
just
didn't
relaying the message.
I trust him that he called. That was something.
And when I was explaining stuff, what did I say? I heard it from the scientist's mouth. Remember that. I'm not making this shit up.
First guy offered the information. I knew nothing about the third arm until he told me. I asked him when their next run would be, and he says, "Well, they're shut down for construction." I said, "Oh, what are y'all doing?" And he goes, "We're adding a third arm." I was like, "Oh, really?" And I swear I know because I came on Bev's show and told him what he told me the name of the project, like what they were studying, and it had something to do with light.
Yeah, I can remember that because it was the time when Brian Leakey was all for going up there and doing his surveying or whatever. Yeah, and you were like, "It's shut down. We can't go there. It'll be at least a year."
Well, you can get in there because the left side of the guard gate doesn't have an arm. It's broken, so it's open. You can just drive around, and there's no one in the guard shack. There's only a sign that says no firearms and something else. So when I saw that sign, I had to turn around. That day I was there, I'd just gone to Academy and bought ammo and had it on my front seat, and then I had a couple of guns in the cars. As people from Livingston do. But yeah, the guard shack was empty. There was no guard, and it looked pretty run down. And then the left side arm was missing, the exit. You could have drove around and like a couple 100 feet, you could drive right into the L.I.G.O arm. You could literally drive your truck right into it, or car.
I remember when you said that, because I was looking at those videos, and then I got recommended something else from that woman scientist, the one that did the leveling of the mirrors. Anyways, to make a long story short, sorry, she was talking about what you're saying, Rakia, and they have to manipulate the light because the actual light itself, when it touches, like the more power of the laser, the more it affects the mirror. So they could only go up to a certain amount of power.
Yeah, the energy moves the mirror is what the first guy told me. That was one thing.
He told you that? Beautiful. That's what Blue was laughing at me about the first conversation we had.
The energy of the laser, the temperature. He said they have to control the temperature. And then they have outside energy sources, which he said were neutrinos, maybe? Neutrinos? Does that sound right?
I don't know anything about that, bro.
He said there was something, I think it was neutrinos that are blasting in and like go through everything and pass through, but they create
a
shielding process.
That's what that pool at Neil deGrasse Tyson in the dinghy underground is. Yeah,
is it neutrinos?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they pass through everything. Yeah. You're talking about the shielding process, right?
Yeah, well, they said they have to shield as best they can from that, but they can't, of course, shield from all of it because it passes through it, and it creates some type of movement in the mirror, and the computer adjusts for that. They have sensors everywhere that detect, some type of magnetic field. What else did he say? Radiation.
So they call that noise from the mirror. They call that noise.
All the noise, but the computer system adjusts automatically for it. And the way that they adjust it is that they have an electric magnetic system on the back of the mirrors, and the computer sends the pulse or frequency to those magnetics. And
that's right. That's what they were calling a motor before. That's right.
Cool. Kind of exactly what I described, right? Thank you.
Yeah, it's magnets.
Rocky.
It's not a motor, yeah.
Yeah, the first time I called L.I.G.O, that's what I learned, Blue. You know, when you said you didn't believe that I called. But this guy said that he didn't know the arm was sloping 4 feet. Yeah, he didn't know anything about that.
Is there a nug life in here?
There's a lot of nugs in here.
I just want to say, fuck you, nug life.
Thank you. Receive.
So imagine how precise those mirrors had to be if the light, the laser light itself, affects them.
Yeah, that's getting pretty precise.
Well, you know,
Quite the computer system.
4 feet over 13,200 feet is a 0.03% grade. I'm not surprised the guy didn't realize it. Did you know that walking next to it? Did you know?
Oh, no. And if he wasn't part of the construction, he wouldn't know. I didn't say he was dumb for not knowing. I just said he didn't know.
4 feet over 2.5 miles is nothing.
Yeah, I don't think he definitely couldn't see it. And if he wasn't, he didn't look into it, he wouldn't know. I mean, I didn't know, and I've looked kind of into it.
I mean, you couldn't even get water to run down it. Hardly.
Hardly, yeah. But it would. Especially if you filled it all the way to the top.
It's way less.
If you filled it up with water, Blue, and then opened the low end, which way would the water flow?
Of course it will flow, yeah. Of course it will, but saying that 0.03% slope is, my God, it's something, Jesus. What do you need?
So are you saying that water flows because of slope?
Sure.
Okay. I believe that too.
Because of elevation. It's because of elevation change, and that's what you have there, elevation change.
Yeah, slope.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, slope.
Yeah, elevation change.
Are there two different slopes? Because I only know of one. Maybe there's two.
Slope, elevation change, same thing.
So there's only one slope.
On one thing, there's one slope usually.
So when someone says something is sloping, that means water would flow.
That means the elevation is changing.
Okay. So when a plumber says, you could say it either way, right? I put slope on your pipe, right? I know the water's going to flow. And if the plumber says, I put flow on the pipe, you know the pipe is sloped, right?
Put flow on the pipe? Is that what you said?
Yeah, he put flow. Is there flow on that pipe?
I've never heard a plumber talk about it.
Yeah, but if he did say it that way, you would know that the water would flow, right? Especially if you're talking to a plumber.
I'd start looking for a better plumber, but yeah, okay.
Yeah. So when someone, I won't mention any names, if anyone tells me that something is sloping, then I automatically would assume the water flows, right?
I would, yeah.
Anybody, a plumber, a carpenter,
what's your point?
An idiot.
Well, I know what his point is. Slow down. So you're using slope as a monolithic term. There are multiple different elevation changes in L.I.G.O. I do know that. So it's not just necessarily one slope in one direction. No.
Wow.
That is true. There's a slight elevation change on the other arm of it, too.
Elevation change?
Elevation, yes.
Not of the laser, though, right?
Above means sea level.
Not the laser, though, right? The laser. Or are you having an elevation
of course
change
not,
on the
not
laser?
the laser. No, the laser doesn't slope. I mean, the laser doesn't. The laser's not bending or anything like that, if that's what you're trying to say.
No. It's just saying an elevation change.
Yeah. There's an elevation change on the tube. So there's an elevation change on the laser, too.
So the laser doesn't bend because it's in a vacuum?
Correct.
Why does it bend when it's in the atmosphere? Like not in a vacuum?
Because of density change in the medium that it's traveling through.
Okay, so it depends on the medium?
Most definitely.
Awesome. I took a phone call. Did we finish the, if anyone tells us it's a slope, we know the water's going to flow? Like, we know how water flows type thing?
No, you have to be careful with the term slope. It's not a slope.
Oh, okay. So maybe
that's just my opinion, because there are
someone misusing
it's
slope.
not just in one direction. It goes up, it goes down. It's topography.
topography is
obvious fishing expedition is obvious.
Yeah.
Jackie has heard somebody say that
not a
that
slope.
distant offshore wind farm over there appears to be sloping down, and wants somebody to say that if there is a slope, water would run in a direction, as an attempt to use that to debunk the claim that the offshore wind farm appears to be sloping down as viewed from this location a long distance away from it.
So you're saying there's no slope there?
Obvious fishing expedition is obvious.
There is no slope then, right?
So no slope.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fishing.
If water's not flowing, there's
no slope.
There's no slope.
That sounds good. I agree, Rakir.
I like
Totally
that.
obvious fishing expedition is totally obvious.
I mean, you're not biting on that question, or you just don't know the answer or scared to answer it?
Yeah, we're just stating the obvious, right? If
I don't think it's something you disagree with.
Yeah.
Don't you agree with us? If there's no slope, water doesn't flow. If there is slope, water will flow, must flow.
What's the point of all this? Or is there one?
Slope.
Yeah, slope.
Slope, slope, slope. I think water is the key to a lot of things.
Hell yeah.
Whew, it's been a long day. A lot of slope.
Ether slope.
And I'm drinking water.
If you enjoyed the content, please support On the Level and future projects. Membership subscriptions available now, or come and get involved at Next Level Discord server. Thank you.